Chapter 15:20 Colorful Fairy Dragon Come Out. Chapter 15:20 Colorful Fairy Dragon Come Out in the blink of an eye. The 5 layers of God's tower collapsed. If this continued, the entire tower question of God would be destroyed, and he, as an owner of tower question of God, would not be able to sit still. When he appeared, a voice resounded in his mind. Ha ha ha! You've lost. The owner of tower question of God did not bother about him. With a loud sound, the powerful energy swept out and directly swept away all of Long Fei's lightning strikes. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Everyone was shocked. The radiance and aura of the Tower Lord was too strong. The disciples, elders, and even the saint in charge of the God's tower all knelt down in unison and said in unison, "Greetings, Lord Tower Master." Long Fei looked at the Tower Master, who was floating in the sky with his dazzling divine light, and thought to himself, what a powerful aura. This fellow's aura. This was the first time he gave Long Fei a peculiar feeling. It was as if the owner of Tower Question of God was not even a person in this world. His aura was a bit. The aura released by the one-star godhood. Was he a divine, level powerhouse? Although it was powerful, Long Fei was still a little unhappy in his heart. He shouted, "When I was being crushed, why didn't you say enough? Now that it's my turn to crush them, you'll jump out." While they were talking, Long Fei took a few steps closer. The space between owner of tower question of God's brows sunk, and he said slightly, "Long Fei, every world has its own laws. You cannot break those rules, and the rules of this world are mine to decide." The power of a Tower Lord. Moreover, his tone carried a tough aura akin to that of a thunderbolt exploding, so no one could even dream of shaking him. These words were said for Long Fei, and also for the people from the 9 secret warrior family. The 6th floor saint shouted, "Long Fei, you dog, listen carefully. This is not a place for you to behave atrociously. You want to kill me? Come on. If you dare to touch me, the Tower Lord will make you beyond redemption." Ha ha ha. Being saved by the owner of Tower Question of God caused his heart to loosen. No one could be presumptuous in front of the owner of Tower Question of God, and no one dared to be presumptuous because he was the Tower Master of the Tower Question of God, the strongest person in the world. Any attack, any power, any cultivation base would not be able to withstand a single blow from him. Since he was saved, he definitely wouldn't die. Long Fei looked at the amount of blood on his head. He only had about 60,000 left, and the distance between him and the saint of the 6th floor. Long Fei laughed coldly and said, "Are you still F*** King hooting?" "I'm so F** King confused. Who gave you the courage?" As soon as he finished, Long Fei replied with the idea, "Ultra ignition." Buzz. With a leap in the air, the ignited flames suddenly ignited above the saint's head, causing his health to drop rapidly. He was stupefied. Not only was it the 6th floor's saint, even the owner of Tower Question of God was the same. He didn't expect such a sudden attack. What's more, he didn't know what the super ignition was. Yell? Call me again. Pa, Lousy has never seen anyone who likes to call out. Call another one over for Lousy to hear out. Long Fei shouted excitedly, "Can't kill you? If I can't kill you, your father will not be called Long Fei. F***. How could a boss that only had a little bit of HP let it go? The owner of Tower Question of God was indeed strong. However, can he control his own idea? Long Fei only needed to release the super ignition the moment the idea moved to it. And the super ignition was unbreakable, and nothing could break it. The only way to break it is if you have enough health point. The number of saint on the 6th floor grew fewer and fewer in number as they all became more and more flustered. "Tower Lord, save me, save me. I don't want to die. I don't want to die." He continued to unleash his golden divine power to defend. However, It was completely useless. Right now, he could feel his body slowly becoming ice cold, and the death scythe was already on his neck. This feeling was too unbearable. Owner of Tower Question of God frowned. His eyes turned cold as he stared straight at Long Fei. Long Fei! Buzz! Long Fei's mind shook, being stared at in such a way by the owner of Tower Question of God. His sea of consciousness began to rumble. His mind started to tremble intensely. He was unable to withstand the pressure. However, Long Fei had always been someone who would not bite off more than he could chew. If you want to be strong, then this father will fight with you. Do you really think I'm afraid of you? Long Fei made up his mind and shouted, "Why are you calling for your father?" Arrogant, arrogant. So what if it was the owner of Tower Question of God? I will still not give you the slightest bit of face if you dare to crush me. Cluck, cluck, cluck. Owner of Tower Question of God's body released a cracking sound. The sky also seemed to split. A series of lightning flashed. His eyes became gloomy, and he stared at Long Fei. Do you really think I won't dare to do anything to you? The flames were burning. The flames of fury soared to the sky. Lightning rumbled in the sky. The entire fairyland of Tower Question of God was enveloped within. Every disciple was terrified. They had never seen owner of Tower Question of God angered before. This was the first time. True anger overflowed into the heavens. This rage formed into an intense suppression, frantically attacking Long Fei's body. Unwell. It was extremely uncomfortable. Long Fei's sea of consciousness surged, and waves struck against the shore. He felt as if his brain was about to explode, and his mind felt as if it was about to be shattered. Unhappy! I'm so unhappy! Long Fei grabbed the colorful fairy dragon and bellowed, "Come bite me if you dare!" Crack! How preposterous! Owner of Tower Question of God was enraged. He glared, and the boundless god power instantly crushed Xiang Long Fei like a layer of heaven collapsing. It could be said that this was the true coercion. Power pressure. Just now, it was just a crushing blow in terms of momentum. This also signified that the Tower Question of God was completely enraged. Extremely strong boss rampage. What kind of scene was this? Destruction of heaven and earth. The bloody bull of Underworld roared fiercely and said, "Boss, be careful." Its huge body suddenly charged forward and landed in front of Long Fei, using its own body to block the attack. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Waves after waves of explosions occurred on the bloody bull of Underworld's body as blood gushed out like a fountain. It was simply unable to stop the power of the owner of Tower Question of God. However, he used his own body to block this attack for Long Fei. Long Fei looked at the 20 billion over health point of the bloody bull of Underworld's head become 100 million. What kind of damage was this? At this moment, Long Fei was furious. The Beast King Question of God roared, "Blood Cellar!" He fiercely charged forward. Owner of Tower Question of God shouted, "You beasts that eat outsiders, die." Boom! With a flip of his right hand, a powerful force came crashing down. The body of the Beast King Question of God. It directly exploded. Dead. The God's War Beasts was enraged. He also rushed forward. Owner of Tower Question of God disdainfully sneered, "You die too." Boom. When Long Fei saw this shocking scene, his heart burned with fury. He said in a heavy tone, "Colorful fairy dragon, come out." Chapter 15:21, Long Fei Crash. Chapter 15:21. Long Fei crash heavenly war beasts, God's war beasts, even though they were his own. However, ever since the day Long Fei tamed them, he treated them like brothers. Furthermore, Long Fei had promised them that he would bring them back to ancient holy battlefield. Let them do as they please. But now, the two war beasts were instantly killed, and their bodies exploded. In this situation, even their primordial spirits were burnt to ashes. Anger arose from the heart. It was burning crazily. He roared, "Colorful fairy dragon, come out!" The idea was linked to the colorful fairy dragon in the war pet space. This guy was a monster from the divinity, a dragon race master, and even more so a super powerful war beast. He wanted to use the colorful fairy dragon to kill the owner of Tower Question of God. However, what made Long Fei a little confused was, following his idea's summon, the colorful fairy dragon did not come out. The colorful fairy dragon was tamed by his spirit-controlling technique. So by right, as long as he moved the idea, it should be able to summon him out, but useless. What was going on? Long Fei moved his body and roared once more, "Colorful fairy dragon, come out right now." No response. There was no reaction at all. Ha ha ha, ha ha ha. The crowd burst into laughter. Colorful fairy dragon? Long Fei, is something wrong with your brain? I even have the 8-colored divine turtle. Ha ha ha. Has this kid been scared silly and started babbling nonsense? Ha ha ha. Long Fei, you must be crazy. No matter how little people knew about colorful fairy dragon, they would understand. But the divine dragon that roamed the 9 heavens was a monster from the divinity, so how could it be summoned by Long Fei? By his control? It was impossible. Moreover, where did the giant dragons from in Chaos Realm come from? Not to mention the legendary colorful fairy dragon S. Even the Tower Question of God had a disdainful sneer on his face. Long Fei did not understand. Why? Then, the idea sunk, looked at the War Pet Space's wide-eyed colorful fairy dragon, and almost roared, "Are you F*** king messing with me?" The brothers had died in battle. Long Fei was furious. He naturally did not have a good temper at this time. The colorful fairy dragon did not mind, and said, "Someone will explain to you." Bullshit explanation. I'm going to F***king overturn this son of a B***tch and release your power to me. Long Fei roared. He did not want to hear any explanation at all. Is to overturn owner of Tower Question of God. Other than this, Long Fei didn't think of anything else. Watching his brother die in front of him was truly unbearable. The colorful fairy dragon ignored him and said, "Long Fei, what you want now is to calm down, not to be impulsive. Calm down. It was my brother who was killed, not your brother. Did you ever think of them as brothers?" No, but I do. Long Fei did not want to be F***king calm. He was very calm right now. He had never been this calm before. Besides, now that the gods war beasts and the beast king question of God were both dead, this was unbearable. One sentence. Are they coming out? Long Fei's gaze tensed up. The colorful fairy dragon's eyes slightly closed, ignoring him. All right. Long Fei was enraged in his heart and did not speak anymore. The idea moved with a flip of his right hand. It took out and said solemnly, "Whoever kills my brother dies." As soon as he finished, there was another round of mocking laughter. The beast is his brother? Then is he also an animal? Ha ha ha. A dog is naturally a beast, to actually treat a war beast as a brother. This boy's brain is too funny. He still dares to make a ruckus with the Tower Master. You're courting death. They had fought together before, so they were Long Fei's brothers. Whether he was a beast, a demon, or a demon, as long as he had fought with Long Fei before, he would treat him as a brother. The golden cudgel in Long Fei's hands leapt out fiercely. The bloody bull of Underworld endured the pain and said heavily, "Boss, I'll accompany you." Boom! Its huge body rose from the ground and rushed out together with Long Fei. Ah! Long Fei roared, and the idea moved, activate the power of the 84th floor. I'm going for broke. This was originally prepared by Zhan Wushuang, but now he was completely going to throw caution to the wind and kill owner of tower question of God. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to take this lying down. However, without waiting for him to release the golden cudgel's energy, owner of tower question of God snorted, "You overestimate yourself. If not for your father, you would have died long ago. If I give you a chance to live, don't treasure it. Since that's the case, then die." Boom. A palm struck down with a divine might. The bloody bowl of underworld shook. Boom. His enormous body once again stood in front of Long Fei, and facing Long Fei, he revealed his bloody teeth that had an innocent smile as he said, "Boss, quick, quick, run." Boom. The bloody bowl of Underworld's body exploded into a mist of blood that covered the sky. The blood splattered onto Long Fei's face, and his entire body was drenched. At this moment, even his heart was trembling. No way. He was about to collapse. The power he used to activate the golden cudgel was also affected. He did not manage to activate the power on the 84th floor. Moreover, at this moment, the tower question of God turned its right hand over and coldly looked at the beasts beside Long Fei, then shouted, "Let me see who can block this for you. All of you die." Boom. Divine might burst forth like a wave. Boom. Boom. Wherever the divine might went, the monsters were all crushed. Their power was not comparable to owner of tower question of gods at all. It was simply too great a difference. Owner of tower question of God was a divine level powerhouse. It was someone who had a divine spark. They were just a few giant demon beasts. How could they possibly stop the power of the owner of tower question of God? No. No. Long Fei was driven mad. His mind was in a mess. He looked at the beasts that had turned into blood mist and did not even know how to defend before disappearing. It was as if his heart had been pierced by tens of thousands of swords. An indescribable pain. His body was trembling. Long Fei crumbled. Qian Changrui, the capital, and the rest were all dumbstruck. They could not do anything. Nothing could help. They could only watch as Long Fei endured by himself. Ha ha ha. The law enforcement officials laughed out loud, complacently. Long Fei, continue being arrogant. Ha ha. The saintess that flew out of the tower question of God started to laugh complacently. No matter how arrogant you are. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Infinite mockery. Long Fei clenched his teeth until it shattered, his eyes bloodshot, and roared again, "Those who touch my brother die. I'll fight it out with you." This time, he moved his idea once again. "Monkey, release all of your power for me." The golden cudgel's red light trembled, and its power surged out like a sea. Chapter 1522. Father. Chapter 1522. Father, all the war beasts were killed. Long Fei's mind collapsed. But his killing intent did not stop just like that. No matter how far he went, even if he was in a life or death situation, his killing intent would never stop. Gripping the burning golden cudgel in one hand, Long Fei leapt onto it. Boom! In a flash of light, he instantly appeared in front of owner of tower question of God and smashed down with his staff. However, owner of tower question of God only sneered in contempt and said word by word, "You are too weak." As soon as he finished, owner of tower question of God suddenly made his move, his palm striking down. The golden cudgel was still a centimeter away from him. But in that moment, owner of tower question of God's power was used to dodge the attack, and his attack was launched first. Bam! A palm struck onto Long Fei's chest. Crack, crack, crack. His chest exploding, Long Fei spat out a mouthful of fresh blood. His body also sank even deeper. However, it did not hit the ground, but was instead blasted into the void by the powerful force. The owner of Tower Question of God scoffed coldly. With a move, the idea sent a sound transmission into the air. Long Janting, tell your son to never step into the Tower Question of God again. Humph! Buzz! Space itself began to shatter and heal, and the world returned to its previous calm. However, everyone's heart turned upside down, unable to calm down. The saintess, elders, and disciples were all incomparably shocked. The one who was the most shocked was Zhan Wushuang, owner of Tower Question of God's Power. Zhan Wushuang clenched both his fists slightly. Divine-level powerhouse is just too strong. I wonder if he condensed his own divine spark himself, or if he absorbed the divine spark's power. However, Zhan Wushuang laughed coldly and said, now that Long Fei has finally been dealt with, there will be no more obstructions between Xianyuan Lier and I. When the time comes, that hidden power of Xianyuan Lier, it's all mine now, ha ha ha. Zhan Wushuang laughed out loud with pride. The instant Long Fei was blasted into the air by the owner of Tower Question of God, Xianyuan Lier's eyes abruptly opened. For some reason, she felt an indescribable pain in her heart. It was very uncomfortable, like suffocating. Big brother Long Fei. Xianyuan Lier felt that something had happened to Long Fei. She wanted to leave, but she couldn't leave. If possible, she would immediately leave when she found out that Long Fei was still alive. She did not want to enter any kind of ancient holy battlefield. She only wanted to quietly stay by Long Fei's side. But now, Xianyuan Lier clenched her jade hands tightly. Big brother Long Fei, I will definitely break through the Tower Question of God quickly. I will definitely leave this place as soon as possible to find you. And then Xianyuan Lier stood up and said, I'm ready. His gaze tensed up, and he walked towards the Saint Presbyter. In the void, the instant Long Fei was smashed downwards. It was as if his entire body was instantly hollowed out. It was as if his soul had left his body, and it was a feeling he had never experienced before. However, he knew he was going to die. The owner of Tower Question of God's Power was too strong. He was unable to move at all. Even if he used all of his power, he would still be the same in the end. He would not be the opponent, but at that time, he really wanted to kill owner of Tower Question of God, and that would cause him to lose his mind. At this time, he calmed down. He said with a bitter smile, Colorful Fairy Dragon, you are right. I was too rash. Your choice was correct, but... Long Fei clenched his teeth, trying his best to not let himself cry, but he was still unable to control the tears that were flowing out. And in the end, he cried out loud, it's just that I'm not reconciled to it. Those are my brothers. They are my brothers. Do you know that? Looking at them die one by one in front of me, I can't wait to die myself. Do you know what I've experienced? Do you know what kind of life I lived in my previous life? You know, Long Fei was very afraid of being alone. He desperately cherished everything he had gained in this world, family, love, and brotherhood. He was afraid of losing them. Many times, he would rather die than see his brother die. Long Fei was such a person. In this man-eating world, this kind of character could be said to be very silly. The colorful fairy dragon did not speak, but in his heart he said, I'm sorry. He was moved by Long Fei. Long Fei felt the endless darkness, as cold as ice. He roared out loudly, this father is truly not willing. I am not willing. Sky King, Tong Tian, Bloodseller, I'm sorry. I failed to fulfill my promise to you. I'm sorry. His heart was weeping blood. He was still not strong enough. He really wasn't strong enough. He was still unable to protect everyone around him. Boom. Suddenly, the door was pushed open in the dark void, and a golden light flashed. A huge beast rushed out. He rushed to Long Fei's side and said with a heavy tone, "Boss." Long Fei was stupefied. Looking at the incredibly familiar gigantic beast in front of him, he could not believe what he had just heard. "Beast King, question of God. You are..." And then Long Fei smiled bitterly and said, "I almost forgot. I also died. Maybe we are both in hell." The Beast King, question of God, said, "Boss, I'm not dead." It was also at this time the Gods War beasts also walked out from the golden door. Carrying the Gods War hammer on its shoulder, its face full of excitement, it rushed to Long Fei and shouted, "Boss." Long Fei smiled faintly and said, "All right, all right, all right. Even if I die, we should still be together. The heavens are still not too bad to me." The Gods War beasts also followed, "Boss, we're not dead yet." Not dead? How is that possible? Long Fei had seen with his own eyes how they were crushed into a ball of blood mist by the power of the owner of Tower Question of God, and had also seen the damage floating above their heads. 10 billion points of damage. How could he not have died? However, perhaps they were alive in the infernal realm. To this world, they weren't dead. Boom. The golden door was unable to bear it any longer, but the bloody bull of Underworld still managed to squeeze inside. Long Fei laughed. "You can call me that in hell." The bloody bull of Underworld ran up and said, "Boss, we really aren't dead. He saved us." The three war beasts looked at the golden door. At the golden gate stood a man, a middle-aged man. It was also at this time the colorful fairy dragon said, "They are right. You are all still alive. Long Fei, this is the explanation that I wanted to give you, and also the explanation that he told me not to come out." The moment owner of Tower Question of God appeared, a voice appeared in the colorful fairy dragon's mind. Seeing Long Fei going crazy, the colorful fairy dragon also almost couldn't hold back and rushed out to make a scene, but in the end, it endured it. Long Fei looked at the golden door, then at the extremely familiar figure. His heart trembled as he ran forward and shouted, "Father!" Chapter 15:23. The person selected by the ancestral dragon. Chapter 15:23. The person selected by the ancestral dragon, Long Zhanting. Long Fei recognized it immediately. Seeing Long Fei, Long Zhanting was also excited. "Xiao Fei." The moment the Death God contract came into existence, Long Zhanting was forcefully dragged into the death space. At that time, Long Fei had died because of his father. But after meeting the 8 King Kong, Long Fei knew that Long Fei was still alive. When he met fairy sister Wang Shishir, he confirmed this point. Today, they finally met. In a special space. "Child, it's been hard on you." Long Zhanting's heart was in pain. He gently stroked Long Fei's forehead, and his gaze revealed that he was in debt. He knew very well what kind of suffering Long Fei had to endure. He truly blamed himself. As his father, he did not fulfill his duty as a father, his duty to make Long Fei walk forward with difficulty. He was not able to assist even when faced with danger. Only he knew the pain in his heart. Long Fei shook his head and said, "It's not hard. I'm not suffering at all." Long Fei was very excited. Huff. Long Zhanting exhaled deeply. His expression became serious as he said, "Xiao Fei, I was the one who did not let the colorful fairy dragon leave. His energy consumption after several million years has already reached its peak, so even if he summoned it, it would still be difficult for him to resist the owner of Tower Question of God. Also, too many things have happened in the past 3 years in Chaos Realm, which is far more than what you know right now. Even in the 9 secret warrior family, Zhan Wushuang is far more powerful than what you can imagine. Also, She has a special power that can help Zhan Wushuang quickly become a god. Even until now, I still do not know what this power is. I only know that the moment she enters the ancient holy battlefield, the power would erupt the moment she enters the ancient holy battlefield. If this power is used by Zhan Wushuang, then his cultivation would soar to the skies and he would condense his divine lattice. Long Zhanting said slowly, Zhan Wushuang does not have any effect on the Long family, nor on the entire dragon clan, but he can affect you. You also know some things about the dragon race from the colorful fairy dragon. If you want the dragon clan to rise up, you have to stand at the peak of this world. Not only the chaos realm, you also have to stand at the peak of all the realms. If you want the dragon clan to rise up, you have to stand at the peak of this world. Xiao Fei, the fate of the dragon race rests on your shoulders alone. I know that it will be very difficult, but you must carry the dragon banner and walk down. Long Zhanting cried in grief. He wanted to help Long Fei take responsibility, but he was not qualified because Long Fei was the person that the ancestral dragon had chosen. Long Fei said, "Father, don't worry. I will definitely lead the dragon race to greatness once again, an unrivaled wild universe." When he was being trampled on by the Oracless, Long Fei had already secretly made up his mind to beat them up. The 100,000 planes he belonged to were all under the control of the main temple. Long Zhanting smiled with gratitude and said, "That's good, that's good. Listen carefully next. Your current cultivation is already the limit of this world, and you can't break through anymore. If you want to fight against the 9 secret warrior family, the tower question of God must first recover its strength. We'll first enter the Chaos Realm's Sea of Infinitas and find it. It can help the colorful fairy dragon recover half its strength. A colorful fairy dragon that has recovered half of its strength is very powerful, but it cannot let you win against everything. 9 secret warrior family also has a divine level powerhouse, and there's more than one of them. Zhan Wushuang has a defensive main artifact. You still need to find something. This thing is called Linglong Prison. It was created with 18 levels of hell, and it requires a lot of materials, and all of these materials need to be found by you. If these 2 items are found, the colorful fairy dragon's power will return to its peak. First, uproot the entire 9 secret warrior family. Then, enter the tower question of God. You must enter the ancient holy battlefield. That place will allow you to rise quickly. You must remember, ancient holy battlefield. You once, saying that, Long Zhanting's gaze tensed up. He suddenly stopped and did not continue speaking. His great prophecy could see what was going to happen to Long Fei in the future. To be able to see him receiving a heavy blow in the ancient holy battlefield, Long Fei looked at his father and said, "What happened once?" Long Zhanting gently patted Long Fei's head and said, "Xiao Fei, you must remember to keep that fearless heart of yours. The people of the dragon race never surrender to any kind of power. All right, go." Long Zhanting did not say what he saw. Long Fei's path should have been led by him, and he should have been given no hints. The fate of the Draconians was not controlled by anyone. Even the god of fate could not control it. As soon as Long Zhanting's words fell, he looked at Long Fei and laughed lightly, thinking to himself, "Child, it's been hard on you." Then, his figure was sucked into the golden door. The void slowly returned to its calm state. The 3 war beasts stood beside Long Fei. Long Fei watched as the golden door slowly closed, and he could clearly feel the energy that had sucked his father inside. Even though his father had already escaped from the clutches of the death god contract, and could even be considered to be the death god now, but in the end, he was still a spirit body. He couldn't enter real time, could only appear in this secret world, this special space. Long Fei clenched his teeth and said, "Father, I will definitely let you see the light again. I will definitely find Mother." "Humph!" The bloody bull of Underworld said. "Boss, where are we going now?" Long Fei replied, "Sea of Infinitas." His cultivation was still not strong enough and was unable to shake the owner of Tower question of God. 9 secret warrior families still had a divine-level powerhouse, and it wasn't just one person. He had to prepare for everything right now. Since he was unable to break through in terms of levels, he would cultivate all of his strength to the peak realm. Then, he would recover the colorful fairy dragon's strength to its peak state. At that time, a monarch descending the world. Bring it on. Let me bring you all out of this void. The colorful fairy dragon said. His heart sank as well. In less than a day, he was gradually subdued by Long Fei. Rumble! The colorful fairy dragon flew out of the war pet space, and the aura on its body fiercely rushed forward. A series of loud sounds rang out. It was as if layers of the sky were shattering. The light was blinding. Long Fei fell from the sky. The holy source moved, immediately stabilizing his body. And at this moment, the colorful fairy dragon returned to Long Fei's war pet space, where it was silent. Humph! It's time for me to get serious. There's been too much time. I've been quiet for too long, over 6 million years. The colorful fairy dragon's eyes turned cold. At this moment, he saw hope. He decided to return to the peak of his power for this hope, for Long Fei. Chapter 1524. Aircrafts set sail. Chapter 1524. Aircrafts set sail. There are many calamities in a person's life. Every tribulation was a test. Persistence, strength, brave to pass with a fearless heart, you will see different sky. At the time when he was at the Tower question of Goddess, Long Fei was actually resentful towards the colorful fairy dragon for not helping him, but after he calmed down, he realized that at that time, his heart was filled with rage and he had completely lost all reason. The colorful fairy dragon was his strongest move. If he were to use this trump card and still be unable to defeat it, then he would have nothing. Moreover, no powerhouse would allow Long Fei to absorb the colorful fairy dragon's power. In addition, the appearance of the rainbow dragon god would definitely cause a mysterious force to chase after him. At that time, could Long Fei withstand it? All of this was too much of an unknown. Long Zhanting had given Long Fei an opportunity to catch his breath. If he wanted to defeat the 9 secret warrior family and defeat the Tower question of God, Long Fei still needed to grow stronger. 1 month later, God's war beasts looked at the vast ocean and could not see the end of it. She could not help but mutter to herself, "I'll go standing in front of this ocean. I feel like an ant. Isn't this too big? Sea of Infinitas." There is a rumor in Chaos Realm that there is no end to this ocean, and no one can fly over it, because this is an endless land. The Beast King question of God said, "Boss, are we really going to go in?" The 3 war beasts looked at Long Fei. Long Fei grinned and laughed, then said, "Go." In this world, there is nothing that can stop my Long Fei's footsteps. The bloody bull of Underworld scratched its head and said, "Boss, but how do we get to this ocean? Or what?" Long Fei walked to the side of the ocean. The 3 beasts followed behind Long Fei. They were a little doubtful in their hearts. Walk into this sea. Long Fei slightly moved his body and felt something. The depth of this place should be good. "Boss, what are you going to do?" "Boss, don't do anything stupid." The 3 of them began to worry. Long Fei grinned and said, "Let me show you what future technology is like. What is it like? Aerial carrier." Boom. Long Fei moved, summoning the aircraft carrier out of the system. He growled out, "Come out, aircraft carrier." This Long Fei used the Battle Mecha series to rampage out of nowhere. Overlord of the Sea. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The moment the spacecraft carrier fell into the water, it created a huge wave. The three war beasts were so scared that they became stupefied, looking at the steel object that appeared out of thin air. They didn't even know what it was. What the heck? Boss, what kind of war beast is this? Isn't that too awesome? What mothership? Oh my God, this is simply a moving island. What's that? Boss, who's that guy with wings on the platform? The aircraft carrier was far more powerful than Long Fei had imagined. In his previous life, he had only seen it on TV before. At most, he only felt it to be bigger. But when he summoned the aircraft carrier, he was as shocked as the three giant beasts. He thought to himself, "Fuck, isn't this a bit too big?" This is future technology. It was several times larger than those aircraft carriers on Earth, and it was equipped with all sorts of black technology weapons. 6 fighter jets. It was a helicopter equipped with numerous ballistic missiles, a few nuclear warheads, and most importantly, its navigation system and detection system. With the advanced technology, a huge control interface appeared in Long Fei's mind. The truth, he was also dumbfounded, not knowing how to control this huge fellow at all. All aboard. Long Fei leaped high into the air. The three behemoths also jumped up. The bodies of the three behemoths were considered big, but on this huge aircraft carrier, it was just a drizzle. The three war beasts were extremely excited, just like how Grandma Lu was when she went on a stroll in the Grandview Garden. Everything they saw was novel to them. Long Fei was the same. "Boss, this guy is too powerful. I have never seen this guy before. If I can bring him to the ancient holy battlefield, that would be awesome, even scaring them to death." The three war beasts excitedly discussed, but Long Fei was also bitter as he looked at the control panel in his mind. There were all kinds of buttons and letters, but he didn't move a single one. Even after a long time, he still couldn't start the aircraft carrier up. At this time, the Gods War beasts looked at Long Fei and said, "Boss, you aren't telling me that it won't move, right? Is that so? It's already been half a day, and we haven't moved at all. Can we only stay here? If that's the case, then it's meaningless." At the start, he was shocked, but now his face was filled with disdain. Long Fei hated that he couldn't just kick them down. He was also secretly anxious in his heart. "Fuck, I don't understand a single one of them. What should I do? Where's the bullshit? Is there a simple way? This F***Cur doesn't even know how to open it. What the F***CK?" Long Fei started to complain in his heart, and then the system notification rang out. Ding. System prompt. Do you want to start speech control mode? Damn. Say it earlier. Activate. Long Fei's heart relaxed. At this time, he looked at the three war beasts with contempt and said, "All of you watch carefully. I'll let you know how mighty this guy is." Voice control system started. Long Fei controlled his voice and shouted loudly, "Carrier, set sail." Boom, boom. A huge rumble sounded, and a huge force began to turn, causing the boat to move. Long Fei's voice sounded again. "In front of you on the right, the target is the Sea of Infinitas. Move out." Boom, boom, boom. He quickly started to operate it, his speed making it seem as if he was flying. The three great war beasts were so scared that they almost hugged each other, their faces full of worship. Ha! Too fierce. "I'm just asking you guys, are you guys awesome?" Long Fei stood at the edge of the sea, feeling the wind howling, his blood boiling as he muttered, "I never thought I could open an aircraft carrier." To think about it was like a dream. However, this was not a dream, nor was it a game. This was reality, the real world. Awesome. Too awesome. The three battle beasts were already in awe of him. He had given them far too much of a shock. After half an hour, they entered the deep sea. At the same time, Long Fei suddenly saw a large wave of deep-sea demon beast and laughed. "Do you want to see something even more powerful?" Then, Long Fei moved, enchanted. His real face had already reached the limit of Chaos Realm's level, but he still hadn't reached the magic body S yet, and was only at level 20 or so. After being bewitched, Long Fei shouted, "Missile preparations! Lock on! Fire!" Chapter 1525. F***CK. There's a boss. Chapter 1525. F***CK. There's a boss. Boom, boom, boom. A few missiles flew out. It drew a long trail of flames in the sky, looking incredibly beautiful. The three war beasts' faces were filled with excitement, and their eyes glazed over. They were completely unable to understand what these rocket-like things were. The missile came at once. In the distance, rumble, rumble, rumble. The entire sea surface exploded, blowing up waves of water for several hundreds of feet. Even the seabed was filled with violent rumbles. That scene, even Long Fei himself was shocked. It was a great show. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining 10,222 experience, 200 holy source points, and 1 energy values point. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing level 2 sea beasts for obtaining 1022 experience points, 200 holy source points, and 1 energy values point. Ding! The system exploded. The lethality of these 3 projectiles was simply outrageous. The magic body's experience points could be seen with the naked eye. The 3 war beasts beside him were even more dumbfounded. "My darling, isn't this too abnormal? Boss, this guy is too awesome. This kind of explosive power is so destructive. Boss, is there anything more amazing? Boss, is there anything more awesome?" The eyes of the 3 battle beasts were burning as they looked forward to something even more eye-catching. Long Fei moved and smiled. "Then I'll show you this." Since he had nothing better to do, he decided to make use of this opportunity to familiarize himself with the aircraft carriers. This would be the perfect opportunity to bring up the demon god's level increase. And then, a big thing, a lot of firecrackers rose up on the carrier. The 3 war beasts immediately surrounded him and asked, "What is this?" Long Fei moved and said, "Fill in the ammunition." Fire! Boom, boom, boom. The huge firepower from the high-speed cannon shot out again, and again with deafening sounds. The scene was simply invincible. The firepower shot out one after another for less than 1/10 of a second before it turned into a fiery dragon and bombarded the surface of the sea. Rumble! The waves crashed. The system beat began to move, and the sea beasts swam happily. And then he was blown to smithereens. Not even that. Activate fighter jet. Whoosh! Whiz! The 6 fighter jets flew into the air, and the trajectory they were carrying rumbled down. The effect created by an aircraft carrier was like the end of the world. It was a scene that could not be put into words. It could only be described with one word: awesome. Boss, this guy is so awesome. Just doing a few Sea of Infinitas like this would make us explode. Ha ha ha. This is too awesome. If there were a few more of these guys, we would have finished them all off. The 3 war beasts were very powerful, but when they saw the spacecraft carrier, they were shocked by its powerful firepower and became completely out of control. Long Fei grinned and thought to himself, "This is only the most basic firepower of an aircraft carrier. The stronger firepower has yet to be produced." Looking at the 3 nuclear bombs. Moreover, all of them were huge black warheads. Once this guy fired, he was definitely in existence that could destroy the heavens and the earth. 9 secret warrior, family? Ha ha. Don't let me know your coordinates, or I'll blast you with a cannon shot. The explosion of fire from the aircraft carrier was extremely terrifying. It exceeded Long Fei's expectations. This bastard was not an ordinary aircraft carrier at all. However, he exploded with joy, but the Sea of Infinitas's seabed exploded. In the depths of the ocean, beasts were constantly awakening. Many pairs of huge eyes were opened, flickering with a dark green light. All the ancient beasts that were hiding in the everlasting sea were awakened. They slowly approached the aircraft carrier. Long Fei did not know about any of these. The Sea of Infinitas was one of the 10 forbidden grounds in the Chaos Realm, the most dangerous ocean. No one dared to set foot in it. Even those semi-god powerhouse-s who were on the heavenly ranking wouldn't dare to come here. This was the forbidden land of death. The gunfire of the 3 beasts was as resplendent as fireworks. The sea was getting restless. A powerful aura was approaching. Boom, boom, ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining 15,990 experience, 500 holy source points, and 1 energy values point. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, 24. He leveled up once again. This was already the 2nd time. A warm current appeared within the demon god's body, becoming stronger by a bit. Long Fei faintly felt this energy, and felt that the demon god's strength seemed to be awakening bit by bit. This feeling was very refreshing. Boom, boom. Another few bullets flew out. They were extremely loud and clear, but the current missiles were unable to cause any more damage, so Long Fei did not waste any more bullets. Although these cannonballs were used without limit, every time they were used, it would consume his holy source. In just half an hour, his holy source had consumed more than 2 million points, and he didn't even bring any sea beasts to supplement his holy source. Huff! Long Fei moved. Stop your attack. The artillery shells stopped firing, and the sea returned to normal. The sea was covered in blood, and the bombardment had caused the death of a large number of sea beasts. Magic Body did not feel anything about it. In his heart, leveling up was more important than anything else. There is no one in the world worthy of pity. The demon god's nature and Long Fei's nature were completely different. Suddenly, the Bloody Bull of Underworld suddenly stood up and said, "Boss, we seem to be surrounded." The God's War beasts moved suddenly and stood up. It carried the God's War hammer on its shoulder and instantly landed beside Long Fei. The Tong Tian battle beast also entered a state of preparation. Long Fei also instantly opened up the aircraft carrier control interface, discovering the radar below them. They were all densely packed in red dots. What is this? It was an enormous sea demon. Sea beasts of the 5th or 8th rank couldn't even get on the radar, which meant that they were all above 9th rank. The corner of Long Fei's mouth rose. You got into a hornet's nest. Suddenly, the image of a giant tentacle tearing through the air was like a giant stone pillar slapping down on the surface of the ship. The heavenly battle beast slightly moved. The power of a demigod burst forth, throwing out a heavy punch. Die! Boom! A tentacle was blasted flying. At the same time, more than 10 huge tentacles suddenly rose up from around the aircraft carrier, bombarding the surface of the ship. Its strength was heaven-defying, just like the sea monster sacrifices move in a game. Rumble! Damn! Long Fei was stunned. The Bloody Bull of Underworld said, "Boss, what do we do?" Bang! Bang, bang! More than 10 tentacles caught the surface of the boat and violently pulled. Rumble! The enormous aircraft carrier began to sink. Long Fei was secretly surprised in his heart. How big of a squid is this? This guy is definitely a boss. Chapter 15:26, Explosion. Chapter 15:26, Explosion. The Sea of Infinitas were extremely terrifying. The terror came from an unknown ancient monster at the bottom of the sea. This giant squid was one of those giant creatures. The weight of the aircraft carrier was a machine's terror. However, its power was enough to drag the aircraft carrier down. Boss, what do we do? Boss. The three great war beasts looked at Long Fei, waiting for his orders. In the blink of an eye, more and more tentacles were pulling on the ship's hull crazily. It won't take long for the aircraft carrier to be overturned. Long Fei grinned. I want to see how strong your boss is. Get in the water. With that, Long Fei jumped down. The three beasts followed closely behind and jumped down following Long Fei. And then the seabed world was even more terrifying than what Long Fei had imagined. The instant they entered the water, swish, swish, swish. Water splashed everywhere, blocking their line of sight. Without waiting for them to react, a huge lantern-shaped fish opened up its blood bowl. Its sharp teeth were longer than a human's teeth, and fiercely swallowed Long Fei. Long Fei floated motionlessly in the water. The gods were beasts shouted, F***K, your grandpa. You dare to touch my boss. The god's hammer struck down, and with a strike of its hammer, the lanternfish's head split open. Fresh blood spurted out as the lantern above their heads was extinguished. However, in the murky sea water, the smell of blood was enough to stir everything. In just a few seconds, the body of the lanternfish was quickly torn apart, leaving only a string of bones. This speed, this was too crazy. Long Fei frowned. Even cannibal fish aren't so fast. Boss up ahead. Boom. A completely golden-colored shark shot towards Xiang Long Fei like a bolt of lightning. Long Fei squinted his eyes as he moved the demon god's 9 tribulations sword in his hand and said in a deep voice, Even you dare to act tough in front of me? Long Fei moved. They collided into each other. In that instant, his body slightly lowered as the 9 tribulations sword in his hand fiercely thrust upwards. Crack! Before the golden shark could open its mouth, it was stabbed to death. Instant kill. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Golden Shark for obtaining 50,000 experience, 3,500 holy source points, and 1 energy values point. At this moment, Long Fei looked at the giant squid that was coiled under the aircraft carrier. It was shining with a golden light as the corner of his mouth lifted. It really is a boss. Ancient sea beasts, infinite cuttlefish. Make way. Long Fei shouted. The 3 war beasts immediately charged forward. Long Fei did not make a move again. The magic body and his real face were completely different. The demon god carried a cold arrogance, that kind of aura of a king, that kind of contempt for low-level sea beasts. Standing in front of the infinite cuttlefish, Long Fei said coldly, Have you finished? His voice carried the might of a demonic god. The squid glared with both eyes, but was not afraid. One of its tentacles had attacked Xiang Long Fei silently. Fast, accurate, ruthless. In this sea, it had never been afraid of anyone, let alone a human. Shua! An incomparably thick antenna pierced towards Xiang Long Fei like a sharp arrow. Long Fei's eyes trembled slightly as he coldly shouted out a single word, Die! Boom! The 9 tribulations sword in his hand moved, but he did not control it to attack his tentacles. Instead, he charged towards the head of the infinite cuttlefish. Competing in speed, the infinite cuttlefish revealed a cold and contemptuous smile. Comparing speed with him in the sea? Isn't this courting death? Furthermore, when approaching him, it was as if he was courting death. The tentacles loosened and began to wildly dance about, not a single one of them reaching a length of several thousand meters. When dancing in the sea water, it was like a fiendish demon. The tentacles wrapped around Long Fei like they wanted to kill him. As long as they were caught by him, they would definitely die. Fearless. No fear. The magic body was very rampant, disdaining defense at all, and charged straight at the infinite cuttlefish. At this moment, suddenly, a figure rushed out from the bottom of the sea and shouted, "Brother, be careful!" There was someone at the bottom of the sea. Long Fei was not in the mood to care about all these. The 9 tribulations sword in his hand moved slightly as bursts of light shone out. Explode. In the crevice, the sword pierced through. That sword, it was so fast that it made it hard for people to breathe, and it suddenly appeared behind the infinite cuttlefish as though it had just flashed by. Crack! The ancient squid's had issued a cracking sound, and all of its tentacles powerlessly hammered down. Its eyes were wide open in anger, and it didn't even know how it died. He looked like an idiot. This strike, it dealt over 90 million damage. It was shockingly high. Long Fei's heart secretly tightened. The magic body's power is far stronger than what he has imagined, far more powerful than what he has in real face. When the god's suffering force was formed, his strength could be imagined. If it was a competition of aptitude and potential, even if Long Fei's aptitude were to increase by 108,000 times, it would still not be comparable to the magic body's aptitude and potential. This was why his strength was so explosive. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Infinite Cuttlefish for obtaining 120/30/22 experience points, 100,000 Holy Source S, and 1 energy values. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Infinite Cuttlefish. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Tentacle Souls technique. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the ancient spiritual artifact, Black Dragon Tendon. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining. A series of notifications sounded, other than the ancient spiritual artifact being absorbed by the golden cudgel. Everything else was exchanged for points. However, the last item to explode caused Long Fei to be slightly stunned. Limitless fragment. What is this? A black fragment that was half the length of a finger with a few lines on it, just like broken porcelain. The key was that this item did not have any description on its attributes and could not be used to pay any points. Long Fei glanced at the space ring. With the death of the infinite cuttlefish, the sea beasts quickly fled. At this time, the person who made the sound just now was a very special person. His appearance was somewhat different from ordinary humans. His nose was almost flat, his nostrils were small, and his body was relatively light. Wow, killing an infinite cuttlefish with 1 sword strike. How powerful! The young man looked at Long Fei with excitement in his eyes. Respect for the powerhouse. Long Fei looked at this special person in front of him and asked, "You are?" That person hugged his hands and said, "We are the Murloc's clan of the Sea of Infinitas. My name is Afong." Murloc's clan? Long Fei shuddered, looking at the fishman in front of him. He could not help but ask, "You live at the bottom of the sea?" Afong laughed. "We Murlocs are different from you humans. For us to be able to be like fishes at the bottom of the sea, we can take a breather for a few days." "Oh yeah, can you give me the infinite cuttlefish you hunted?" Ding! Chapter 1527. I Want Your Life. Chapter 1527. I Want Your Life. The system suddenly sounded out. Ding! System notification. Giving the infinite cuttlefish to Afong. Obtaining the infinite reviews information. Long Fei immediately replied, "Sure." They had entered the Sea of Infinitas, yet the ocean was so vast, it was harder to find infinite review than to find a needle in a haystack. The key thing was Long Fei did not have a clue. It was just like completing a task. If he didn't give any hints, how could he complete it? Thank you. Thank you. A Feng was ecstatic. He had only said it casually. He did not expect Long Fei to actually agree. One must know that such a huge infinite cuttlefish could solve the problem of their tribe being fed and warmed up for half a month. Ding! Gift successful. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining information on the Infinite Review. Damn! System, damn you, only 2 words are given. The sea floor? Do I need you to tell me that the Infinite Review is at the bottom of the sea? Why didn't you say it's in Chaos Realm? Are you kidding me? Long Fei felt that he had been tricked and was extremely unhappy in his heart. However, to be able to obtain crucial information just by giving an infinite cuttlefish as a gift, that was too simple. A Feng's body moved and directly charged into the depths of the sea. After a few seconds, a series of bubbles appeared in the depths of the sea, and the incomparably huge squid was lifted up on his shoulder by his frail body. It was as if his strength had exploded. Although it was in the water, the gigantic squid was simply too huge. Ordinary people couldn't move at all. Even if the bloody bull of Underworld dragged it, it would take some time. But a Feng still managed to drag the squid up in a few seconds. This power, this was definitely not ordinary. Long Fei was stunned. The bloody bull of Underworld were also stunned. Grandma, are all the life forms in the Sea of Infinitas abnormal? I always thought that I was abnormal enough. I never thought that there would be someone even more abnormal than me. This power, if it's on the surface of the water, then wouldn't that be the existence of a god-burst fist? Terrifying, a Feng said respectfully. Thank you for giving me the infinite cuttlefish. I thank you on behalf of my tribe. You are my clan's benefactor. If not, why not come with me to the tribe? A Feng invited. Since he had obtained a hint from a Feng, then perhaps this might be a signal, and then he might be able to obtain all the information regarding the Infinite Review. Immediately, Long Fei kept the 3 great war beasts back in the Warpet space, and the aircraft carrier also kept them, saying, "All right." A Feng laughed excitedly and said, "Master, then follow me." He was very happy, because Long Fei had agreed to meet him together with the tribe. With the squid on his shoulder, he couldn't help but smile. There's hope now. Don't worry about food. There's hope now. All along the way, a Feng was talking to Long Fei excitedly. It was all about his tribe. The Murloc's clan was divided into many tribes. The young people like him in the tribe would either leave the clan or leave it. There were very few people guarding the tribe, which also made the power of the tribe he was in become weaker and weaker, until now it was difficult to even maintain his position. Food was scarce. They had only come out to take the risk for the sake of tribe A Feng. This giant squid had solved the problem of their tribe's food supply, so they no longer had to worry about their tribe being destroyed. Half a day later, a Feng pointed to a deep valley in the distance. In the middle of the valley was a flat area, and in that flat area, there was a huge bubble that covered everything. Beneath the bubble were some simple and crude buildings. "That's my tribe," a Feng said with a smile. It was obvious that he loved his home. However, the space between his eyebrows suddenly tightened, and his speed increased by a bit. He said faintly, "Tiger Shark Tribe? Could it be?" His face darkened, and he sped up once more. Long Fei saw that within the bubbles, many merfolk people who were strong and sturdy were kowtowing and begging for mercy in front of them. A Feng already crazily ran over. Long Fei also followed him at a moderate pace. Buzz. A Feng went into the bubble and placed the infinite cuttlefish outside. He ran up and shouted, Guihu, what do you want to do? When the clansmen saw Feng's return, they were all slightly startled. However, a few clan members immediately pulled a Feng back and said, "A Feng, don't be rash. A Feng, don't be reckless." The burly fishman sneered, glanced at a Feng, and said, "What are you doing?" "I am here to collect my salary. Our clan chief has said that if we are unable to return any more food today, your silverfish tribe will be removed from Murloc's clan." "I heard you went out to hunt sea beasts. Where are the sea beasts?" "Hand it over." Guihu looked at a Feng who was empty-handed and revealed a proud sneer. "You think you can kill a sea beast? Humph, you shouldn't take a piss just because you know what you're doing." A Feng clenched his fists tightly, and then Guihu shouted loudly and said with a heavy tone, "Today is the deadline. You trash from the whitebait race. If you can't pay your salary, it would be a waste even if you lived in this world. It's a waste anyway. Why not go and die for me?" Guihu grinned excitedly and laughed. "Ha ha." Behind him, the tiger shark also started laughing loudly. Compared to the tiger shark, a Feng's whitebait race was too weak. You could tell that from their bodies. One was as strong as a bear's back, while the other was as thin as firewood. Whitebait race had the lowest status among the Murloc's clan and was looked down upon by other tribes. At this moment, a little girl suddenly walked out, put her hands on her hips, and said angrily, "You're the bad guy. You're the one who's going to die." Guihu stared at him. "You're courting death." A Feng shouted out loud, "Little sister, be careful." Boom. Space 8 trigrams. Boom. A ripple like water was released. The little girl couldn't react at all. Her palm ruthlessly smashed into her chest, and her entire body was sent flying. He had blown her out of the air bubble with a single palm strike, causing her entire body to become unconscious. "Little sister." "Ah." A Feng roared. Guihu laughed disdainfully. "A Feng, try making a move. This old one wants your clan members to be smashed to smithereens in just a few minutes." It was at this moment. Boom. Long Fei supported the little girl with one hand and pulled the infinite cuttlefish with the other as he landed heavily on the ground. He looked at Guihu and said, "You guys want food, right? Is this squid enough?" When Guihu saw the gigantic infinite cuttlefish, his eyes released a golden light. He laughed excitedly and said, "Enough, ha ha ha. A Feng, you guys go far this time. Men, pull the infinite cuttlefish away." Long Fei grinned and laughed, then said, "You can take it away, squid, but you don't have to. You beat him up just now. How can this be counted?" Guihu looked at Long Fei and sneered. "How do you want to calculate?" Long Fei said, "I want your life." Chapter 1528. Killing one, not a single one can leave. Chapter 1528. Killing one, not a single one can leave as soon as he finished. The audience suddenly quieted down. Guihu looked at Long Fei. The whitebait race looked at Long Fei. The tiger shark looked at Long Fei. Suddenly, ha ha ha, ha ha ha, ha ha ha. Is this person courting death? He dares to challenge Master Guihu. Is he tired of living? Is this person crazy? It's obvious that he's brainless. Guihu was one of the top 3 warriors in the tiger shark tribe, with the ability to cultivate the power of 8 trigrams to the extent of being as pure as fire. He could be considered a top-notch powerhouse in the entire Murloc's clan. A human, and it was at the bottom of the water, daring to challenge him? If this wasn't courting death, then what was it? A Feng's brows tightened. The expressions of the people from Whitebait race also changed slightly. Their eyes were filled with worry for Long Fei, because they knew very well that the humans at the bottom of the sea were no match for the Murloc's clan, let alone the super warrior of the fighting tribe's tiger shark. Guehu laughed loudly, feeling that Long Fei was extremely laughable and extremely laughable. He pointed at Long Fei's nose and said, "Look at this infinite cuttlefish's face. I'll let you off today." "Brothers, lift up the big squid. Let's go back." At this moment, Long Fei said again, "I never thought of letting you go." Suddenly, Guehu was startled. The killing intent in his eyes burst forth. It was extremely gloomy and cold. At this moment, the surroundings instantly quieted down. Schwa. Space gossip, water palm. Guehu's body strength suddenly burst forth as he struck Xiang Longfei with his palm. A wave of water ripples shot towards Xiang Longfei like an arrow, and very quickly, the force of the wind blew on the ground and caused the ground to crack. This power was extremely terrifying. However, Long Fei's eyes became cold, and the 9 Tribulations sword in his hand moved. Break! The sword stabbed out. He went up to meet it head-on. Buzz! When the water wave energy made contact with the 9 Tribulations sword, it suddenly exploded, turning into a huge 8 trigrams. The force of the palm became even stronger. This sudden change caused Long Fei to be slightly shocked. Guehu sneered and said, "You overestimate yourself." Very contemptuous. In his eyes, humans were trash that could not even withstand a single blow. Long Fei's devil god might slightly exploded as he coldly said, "Strength, that's right. However, useless." With a flick of his finger, he pressed it against the hilt of the sword, and a surge of energy gushed out of his body. The sword pierced into the 8 trigrams water wave, forming a vortex. It swirled fiercely and became like a gigantic umbrella, spinning faster and faster until the entire 8 trigrams water wave was sucked into it and blasted towards Guehu. Guehu's expression changed as he used more strength in his palms. 8 trigrams space. Boom, boom, boom. He sent out several palm strikes, but all of the palm force was sucked into the ball and was completely unable to stop the power Long Fei had unleashed. Crash! Rumble! All of the 8 trigram space palm technique smashed onto Guehu himself, causing him to fly 100 meters away as he coughed out a large mouthful of blood. At this moment, Long Fei's footsteps were like ghosts. In the instant that Guehu fell to the ground, he had already appeared in front of him. Too fast. All of this happened too fast. He couldn't react at all. Guehu was not afraid. His eyes spat fire as he stared at Long Fei and asked, "Kid, who are you?" "Do you know who I am?" "I am the son of the tiger shark's elder. You dare to kill me? The Silverfish clan will be exterminated." Without waiting for Guehu to finish, Long Fei's 9 Tribulations sword fiercely thrust forward. Poochie! He had never dreamed that Long Fei would actually dare to make a move, because he was the son of the great clan elder of the tiger sharkess, and he was the son of the great clan elder. Who would dare to touch him? However, Long Fei gave a disdainful sneer. "This demon god hates it when people spout rubbish in front of me the most, and even hate it when people threaten me." A cold voice. His aura was so strong that it could explode. "Kill you? It is as if I have taken a fancy to your supreme glory." Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Guehu for obtaining 100,000 experience, 10,000 holy source points, and 10 energy values. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Space Trigram Palm. Do you wish to learn it? Trash cultivation technique. Practice my ass. I want to exchange for points. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up his magic body. The entire Silverfish tribe remained silent. All of them stared at Long Fei with their mouths agape. He actually killed Guehu? This. Their brains were twisted, and they could not react in time. Those Guehu warrior-s were also stunned on the spot. You dare kill Master Gui? Who? You killed Master Gui? Who? You prepare to die. You all of you will die for Master Gui? Who? Just you wait. In the Murloc's clan, no one had ever dared to challenge the tiger shark or Murloc's clan. Long Fei's eyes turned cold. Afong suddenly shouted, "Kill them all if you don't do one, and don't let a single one go." If these tiger shark warrior escaped, the tiger shark army would crush them in less than an hour. By that time, the silverfish drug race would not be able to hold on at all. After killing all of them, Whitebait race would have more time to prepare by sealing off the news. Afong had no other choice. Gui, who was already dead, in their Whitebait race's territory. Even if they didn't do anything, the Whitebait race wouldn't have been able to escape, and would have definitely been implicated. Thus, it was the direct opposite. Immediately, the Whitebait race S who were kneeling on the ground also took action, charging forward. Long Fei smirked and said, "I like killing people the most." He needed experience. "I want the holy source, and even more so, energy values." Right now, his energy values had already accumulated to 18 points, and in a few tens of thousands, he would be able to reach the 7th level of Berserk. Level 7 Berserk was not Long Fei's goal. What he wanted was a level 10. This time, it turned the world upside down. Level 10 Berserk. It was at least a super artifact, or even a main artifact level spirit treasure. Half a minute. All of the Tiger Shark S and Warrior S were killed, and Long Fei accepted all of their experience, holy source, and energy values. Afong walked in front of Long Fei and said, "Master, thank you for your help. Hurry up and leave." Afong did not want to implicate Long Fei, and at the same time, his heart was sincerely grateful to Long Fei. Long Fei had done something that he did not dare to do, but he really wanted to do so. Whitebait race was born with this blood. He had been feeling vexed the entire time. Long Fei was startled and said, "If I leave, what will you do?" Afong smiled faintly and said, "Don't worry, we have a way to deal with it." Long Fei was not stupid. He could tell that Afong did not want to implicate him. Long Fei smiled faintly and said, "All right, then can you let me rest here for a few days?" He didn't want to go. Someone was going to kill him, someone was going to take it from him, and someone was going to take it from him with energy values. How could he possibly leave? Absolutely not. I'm going to level up. Chapter 1529, Infinite God of War S. Chapter 1529. Infinite God of War S. The level of Magic Body S were still too low. There was only one way to unleash all the power of the Devil God, and that was to transfer his level increase to the peak realm. Moreover, the more he thought about it, the more he realized that this place was very likely to be related to the Infinite Review. This feeling was very strong. In the Murloc's clan, the Silverfish tribe was one of the oldest fishmen and had lived the longest in the sea of Infinitas S. If they wanted to find the Infinite Review, they would definitely provide them with a clue. Afong said slightly, "All right, 3 days. It's best if Master leaves quickly after 3 days." Long Fei laughed. "Sure." "No way. Absolutely not." Afong, you know very well just how strong the Tiger Shark tribe is. Our Whitebait race doesn't even have as many warrior S as one team. How can we contend against them? Afong, you are bringing our Whitebait race into the abyss of hell, aren't you? The Tiger Shark S, Warrior and Gui, who were both killed by that human. As long as we capture him and give him to the Tiger Shark tribe elder, our tribe will be saved. You're right, he hasn't left yet. We absolutely can't let him go. Facing the valiant, the hearts of the people from the Whitebait race were incomparably afraid. It was the same for any living being. They would not be afraid of death when faced with the crushing pressure of powerful forces. a Feng said. Elders, uncles, our whitebait race has been oppressed for so many years. Our clansmen are getting smaller and smaller. Our territory is getting smaller and smaller. And even now, being squeezed into this valley, our tiger shark tribe will not let this opportunity go. Our whitebait race used to be the strongest warrior, and all of us have the blood of the infinite God of war flowing in our bodies. Do you all forget about this? Let's take a step back. Even if we hand the Lord over to the tiger shark tribe, the tiger shark tribe will still kill us all. The entire Murlocs clan knows of the tiger shark's ambition. He will definitely not let us off. Only if we unite will we be able to fight against the tiger shark tribe. As soon as Afong finished speaking, a middle-aged fishman snorted coldly, "Humph, fighting against tiger shark tribe. Afong, I'm asking you, what are you going to do? How can we fight back? Do we whitebait race still have the strength to fight?" The hall was silent. Indeed, right now, even surviving was a problem for the whitebait race. How could he still have the strength to fight against the incomparably strong tiger shark tribe? Right now, they were like ants and elephants. They were not on the same level at all. So how could they resist? Crack, crack. In the main hall, a fishman with wrinkled eyebrows and a beard that fell to his waist was smoking. His eyes trembled as he said, faintly, "Our silverfish tribe can no longer shrink back. Afong is right. The blood flowing in our bodies is from the infinite God of war. We are born to be fish people. All these years, we have forgotten even the most fundamental part." The few elders were slightly taken aback. Clan leader, but our strength cannot compete with tiger shark tribes. The old man looked at Afong and lightly said, "Call the human you brought into whitebait race. Everyone else out." Everyone was shocked. Although he was unwilling, he didn't dare to stop. The clan leader has supreme authority. Not long later, Long Fei walked into the hall. Inside the hall, there were only the patriarch, Afong, and him. Long Fei slightly said, "Patriarch, why have you called me here?" Long Fei didn't need to think to know that there had been an intense argument just now, and that he was the target of it. In fact, he didn't care about it at all. Whether he could hand him over to the tiger shark tribe or not was also fine. Anyway, he wanted to level up, wanted to obtain striking energy value. The old man said slightly, "This is the place where the whitebait race was born. In the canyon behind our tribe, there is a seal." Afeng's gaze tensed up. Long Fei did not so casually listen. The old man continued, "Only the people from the whitebait race can open the seal, and inside the seal is the blood vein of our fishmen ancestors, the blood vein of the infinite God of war." Long Fei was startled and asked, "What do you want me to do?" The old man said, "I want to beg you to protect Afong and let him fuse with the infinite God of war's blood vein. This is whitebait race's only hope." "No." Afong immediately knelt down before him and said, "Lord Clan Chief, I am not qualified. In the Murlocs clan, blood vein were the supreme blood vein. In the Murlocs clan, there was a legend. Whoever obtained the infinite God of war blood vein would be able to obtain the power of the infinite God of war, becoming the strongest warrior, becoming a new war god." Long Fei said indifferently, "Yes, but what can I get?" The demon gods never did things for free. If it was the real face, Long Fei wouldn't be able to say such words, but the demon god's personality was different from his, and his thoughts were also different. The old man looked at Long Fei, his eyes flashed with a strange light, and he said, "You will get the upper half of the infinite review." It was very deep. Even the deep Long Fei couldn't see through it. Long Fei said, "You know that I am here for the infinite review?" The old man said, "Everyone that enters the Sea of Infinitas are here for the infinite review. You definitely are there too, it's just that I only have the upper half. If you can help Afong to obtain the infinite God of war's blood vein, I will give you the upper half." Long Fei said without even thinking, "Deal." But what if the infinite god of war blood vein is unable to fuse with it? Longface suddenly thought of something and asked. The old man's eyes narrowed. Afong said, Clan leader, this burden is too heavy. I am afraid. I'm afraid I can't take it. There was a possibility of failure in fusing with a blood vein. What if he failed? Not only did he waste blood vein, he also let down the patriarch's expectations and limited Murloc's clan's predicament. That was also to say that he was the one carrying the fate of the entire whitebait race. The old man was silent for a good 3 minutes. Then he exhaled a cloud of white smoke and said indifferently, If you fail to integrate, then the heavens will want my whitebait race to die. Go. You only have 3 days. Finished. The old man slowly walked out of the hall with his hands behind his back. Long Fei lightly patted Afeng's shoulder and said, Don't worry, I'll take care of everything. 1 day later, Long Fei and Afeng arrived at the depths of the canyon. This was a deep ravine that was tens of thousands of meters deep. If not for the magic body, Long Fei's body would have been crushed to pieces. He simply could not endure it. Afeng took the map and looked at it and said, It should be here. A huge black hole. It was like the bloody mouth of a demon beast. Afeng kept the map and took a step into the cave. At this moment, the Sleeping Beauty suddenly woke up and said, It's dangerous inside. Huh. Long Fei pulled Afeng back, and the idea asked, How dangerous is it? The Sleeping Beauty slowly said, It's extremely dangerous, a danger that you can't withstand. F***CK. So fierce. Long Fei trembled and said, I like it. The more dangerous the situation, the more excited Long Fei became, because wealth comes only from danger. Right now, he was desperately hoping to obtain even more power. He really hoped for it. Thus, Long Fei took the lead and stepped into the deep hole. Sleeping Beauty said, Inside, there is a fallen ancestor of the Titan. Chapter 1530. The Ancestor of the Titan. Chapter 1530. The ancestor of the Titan within the black hole. His line of sight was less than 10 meters. It was pitch black. The seawater was still turbid and not too far away. Afeng said, Master, according to the markings on the map, we should have to walk for another half an hour before arriving. It's just that. He was still a little worried. The pressure placed on him by the infinite god of war blood vein was too great. He was worried that he would not be able to shoulder the heavy responsibility of being the whitebait race. Long Fei could tell what he was worried about and said, There's no just that. Don't worry, I will help you. The two of them carefully moved forward. Long Fei secretly asked in his heart, Sister, what is there to be afraid of about a fallen ancestor of the Titan? What do I have to be afraid of if he's already dead? So what if a dead body was in danger? The Sleeping Beauty said, Awaken soul. He still has a remnant soul inside of him. He's protecting his corpse and won't let anyone near it. Huh. Long Fei was slightly shocked. Is the Titan tribe like this as well? And there was still a remnant soul protecting his corpse? Or is he the only one who's special? Sleeping Beauty said, I don't know if the Titan tribe has that habit, but in the entire wild universe, there are extremely few Titans. Maybe this Titan ancestral emperor is a little different, or maybe he is waiting for something. Long Fei's eyes flashed a ray of light and said, Who knows, maybe he is protecting a treasure? Ha ha! He's already dead, and yet his vengeful spirit still hasn't dissipated. There must be a reason for this. Waiting for his clansmen? I think that's impossible. I think he's protecting a powerful treasure. Long Fei started to cry. Moreover, the infinite god of war's blood vein was located in this place. What was the relationship between the two? The infinite god of war was the ancestor of the whitebait race. The reason he could become the Murlocs clan's war god might also be because of what he had obtained from the body of the Titan ancestral, because he became stronger, fiercer, and became the Murlocs clan's war god. Thinking of all these, Long Fei became even more excited in his heart. There must be something in the Titan ancestral beast's body. The Sleeping Beauty did not say anything, because she did not know either. Half an hour later, suddenly, a low roar came from the depths of the cave. It sounded like the weeping of a vengeful spirit. It was extremely terrifying. Long Fei also stopped right after and said, "Follow behind me. Be careful." A Feng did as he was told. Long Fei's aura wavered slightly as he sensed it. At this moment, buzz. A loud buzzing sound could be heard, followed by a series of cracking sounds. Ka ka ka. It was also at this time. A lamp was lit. It was as if they were at a secret base. The black hole became as bright as day, and the turbid sea water was quickly pulled out. Wallala, wallala. In just half a minute, all of the seawater was sucked out. A Feng could not help but ask, "Master, are we here yet?" The cracking sounds continued to resonate from deep within the black hole, giving Long Fei the feeling that he had activated a large machine in an instant. At the same time, Long Fei's brows sank, and his heart fiercely shook as he muttered, "Could this place be within Grandmaster Titan's body?" It was hard to imagine. Huff! Long Fei exhaled and said, "Don't worry, they're all here." Long Fei observed his surroundings and saw rocks. It didn't look like steel or some kind of metal. Calm down. The two continued their journey. After walking like this for another half an hour, they arrived at a vast and empty plaza. In the center of the plaza, there was a small hexagram array. A Feng took a look at the escape map, pointed at the hexagram, and said, "Master, that is the seal formation of the infinite god of war's blood vein." And then he was so excited that he wanted to run out. However, Long Fei pulled him back and said, "Don't be too careless." This place gave Long Fei a very bad feeling. It was as if countless eyes were staring at him, causing him to feel a little scared. After waiting for a few minutes, there was no reaction from the surroundings. Long Fei and Mu Yuro slowly walked forward. The moment they stepped onto the formation patterns around the six-pointed star, a rumbling sound of explosion rang out. A series of loud bangs sounded out. A thick metal door descended. It wasn't just this door. The hexagram's 6 doors all landed. Boom! At this moment, the hexagram flickered with light, and a gigantic illusory image appeared. The illusory image did not look very large, but it did give Long Fei and the rest a very huge feeling. It was as huge as the heavens and the earth. The shock in his heart was intense. "Humans!" A furious roar. A Feng's gaze sank and said in a low voice, "Master, I can feel the presence of the infinite god of war from his body. Could he be my whitebait race's infinite god of war?" "You're thinking too much. He is the creator of the infinite god of war, but he seems to be very hostile to us." Long Fei could clearly feel his anger from his voice. Long Fei took a step forward. "Ancestor of the Titan tribe." Buzz. Rumble. With a loud bang, a glow appeared on the hexagram. The fluorescent light was like a huge attack. It simply gave Long Fei time to react, as it was attacked ferociously. Bam! Long Fei's body fiercely flew backwards. Smashing against the thick metal door, Poochie, he spat out a mouthful of blood. With just a tiny bit of fluorescence, the damage was simply off the charts. Long Fei was also instantly enraged. Fuck! In that instant, Long Fei's aura changed as the might of the devil god burst forth. His right hand wielded the 9 tribulations sword as he pointed at the ball of shadow and said, "Screw it, I'll kill you." Boom! His aura changed, and his figure suddenly disappeared. The first move he made was to beat the demon god until he spat blood. He was in a really bad mood. The demon god's sword chi came crushing down from all directions, creating a loud sound as it collided with the illusory figure of the hexagram. Boom! Boom! The sword beams clashed together. Long Fei also pierced through, but he did not stop there. The move he made did not cause any damage. Furthermore, he didn't even touch his body. Phantom. Even if they needed to, they would be bound by his demon god aura and could still kill him. But the illusion couldn't touch it at all. Why is that? Long Fei's heart tensed up, but at that moment, a foam walked forward, knelt on the ground, and said, "Are you infinite god of war's primordial spirit?" Infinite god of war. Hearing these words, the mysterious man became even angrier. Liar! Liar! Humans are all liars. I will kill both of you. Buzz. With a burst of fluorescent light, a purplish-red ray flashed. What the hell? F***CK. Is it future technology? Long Fei's gaze darkened. He quickly rushed to Feng's side and shouted loudly, "Be careful!" pressing his body to the ground. In that instant, a red laser beam shot out. A deep imprint appeared on the surrounding walls, and all the special metals were pierced through. If he was hit, his body would be instantly cut off. F***CK. Isn't he too strong? Chapter 1531. Come out and fight with me now. Chapter 1531. Come out and fight with me. Now this damage. It really exploded. Moreover, Long Fei could feel from the red laser light that this red laser attack carried a hint of destructive power, something that was impossible to resist. Seeing Long Fei and Yu Yang dodge, the mysterious man became even more furious and said, "Let's see how many more times you can dodge." Buzz, buzz, buzz. Fluorescence becomes a huge demand, just like the colorful glowing ball inside the KTV. Holy **T. Long Fei became angry and shouted loudly, "Be careful!" Buzz. The ball of light burst out, and the red laser started to shoot crazily. It was an irregular shot without any pattern, and Long Fei could only rely on his speed to jump and dodge. He was battered and exhausted. There were several times when the laser beam was almost close enough to dodge the attack. Long Fei tried to use the Nine Tribulations sword to block, but he found out even the Nine Tribulations sword couldn't defend against it. The red laser's power was too ferocious. Bang! Crack! Bang! Bang! Crack! 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 Long Fei brought a foam, and the other two as if they were discs. With the arrival of the laser, the two of them quickly dodged each other and did all sorts of strange movements. In addition, the red laser kept firing. It was really like doing some kind of exciting dance, and for the first time. This was the first time he had put the demon god in such a difficult situation. Long Fei's mind was also constantly pondering. The mysterious man didn't have any HP on his head, so he definitely wasn't a real one. No health, but his attack. How did it come out? It was impossible to explain. The bloody bull of Underworld said, "Boss, let me come out and kill him." The Gods War Beast said, "Boss, this guy seems to have some sort of power similar to your mothership. It's just that your mothership is firing artillery shells, and this is some kind of red laser. Carriers?" In that instant, Long Fei suddenly thought of something. Right? This guy is a future technology. His shadow is just a projection, and his attack. It's also very likely to be controlled by voice. That must be it. If it was a Chaos Realm Rancor, even a god would not be able to immediately sense what projection and sound control system was. Long Fei was a transcender. In his previous life, many things were useless in this world, but he had some common sense that surpassed everyone else in this world. After thinking this through, Long Fei began to look for the location where the shadow could be transmitted through. Suddenly, Long Fei said in a low voice and said, "Afong, you be careful. Don't touch the red laser threads." "Master, what are you going to do?" Long Fei stared at a certain spot and coldly laughed. "I want to kill him." Motherf asterisk cur. In that instant, Long Fei's body moved and said with a slight shout, "This daddy has never been in such a sorry state before. Wasn't I just deceived by infinite God of War once? You want to vent your anger on us? Then I'll let you know my methods." As soon as he finished, boom, Long Fei jumped again and again. The 9 tribulations sword suddenly moved and suddenly stabbed into a dot of light on the left side. With a cold snort, he said, "Phantom image, break for me." Boom. Kacha. The shadow began to distort, then quickly disappeared. The red laser ball disappeared, and everything returned to normal. Afong carefully crawled up from the ground and said slightly, "Master, is it over?" Long Fei shook his head and said, "It's not that simple." He thought to himself, there must be a control room here. This fellow could very well be the remnant soul of the ancestor of the Titan, but what did infinite God of War promise him? Can it turn an ordinary Murloc warrior into the war god of the Murloc's clan? What kind of power does he possess? Long Fei really wanted to know, right now, what he needed to do was to increase his power levels restrictions and restrict his power. He needed to break through all of these. Thus, he needed even more power. Boom. Red light suddenly flashed on the hexagram, and the white fluorescent light turned completely red. It covered the entire space. There was no place to hide. Holy SH *T. The enlargement stroke. Long Fei's heart tightened. He did not know if his magic body could handle it either, and angrily said, "If you have the guts, come and fight with me. Do you dare? Come out." A deep voice rang out. "It's useless to provoke me. You humans have lied to me once. This time, I will make you pay the price. Bring your sister's price." Long Fei immediately scolded. "There are billions of humans in the Chaos Realm. If you have the guts, kill them all. Moreover, do you know humans? How do you know he lied to you? Maybe he died long ago." Long Fei asked softly, "Where is your infinite God of War now?" Afong replied, "Dead." Long Fei, "How did he die?" Afong said, "Breaking through the shackles, lured in the heavenly tribulation, and finally died." Long Fei blinked his eyes. "Died in such a tragic way." And then Long Fei said, "You heard it. He was directly struck to death by lightning." Impossible. The blood vein that I created and the powerhouse that I created are simply impossible to destroy in this kind of low realm with the power of imprisonment. You two are definitely lying to me. A deep sound rang out. Long Fei said, "Do you King believe me? I will ask you now, do you dare to come out and fight with me? Hiding in the control room is nothing. Come out if you dare." His voice turned cold. "You seem to know a lot." To be able to break through his projection point meant that Long Fei was very special. "Don't give me a beep. Come out if you have the guts." Long Fei didn't want to waste words with him. And furthermore, the red light around the hexagram grew brighter and brighter. If it really erupted, Long Fei didn't have the confidence to defend against it. "You want to fight me? Then you should avoid this attack first." As soon as his voice fell, a red fluorescence burst out, forming an intense red laser. *CK. Long Fei's heart tensed up. "We are finished." The Sleeping Beauty suddenly said, "Don't your space ring still have more destroy God Mind stones? It can withstand the power of this red laser." "Sister, why didn't you say so earlier?" Long Fei almost cried. Immediately, Long Fei shouted, "Hide behind me." The Destroy God Mine was very small, so it was very difficult for it to block their entire body. However, if it approached them to block, it would be different. Long Fei rushed forward and covered it with his Destroy God Mine. Boom! Cover the side. The Destroy God Mine trembled crazily. Long Fei used one hand to forcefully block it, and his entire body was shaken until it became numb. Indeed, just as the Sleeping Beauty had said, the Destroy God Mine blocked the red laser beam. Long Fei was secretly shocked in his heart. As expected of the Destroy God Mine stone, it's too awesome. Destroy God Mine? You actually have a Destroy God Mine? His voice was filled with shock, but Long Fei did not waste time with him and said, "I've blocked your move. Can you come out to fight with me now?" Chapter 1532. Divine Tree. Chapter 1532. Divine Tree, there was no point in blocking the red laser. If he didn't overturn his original body, no matter how many attacks he used, they would be useless. However, Long Fei simply could not find the location of his original body and could only force him to come out. The deep voice quieted down. Long Fei immediately sneered and said, "How funny. At the beginning you said that humans were scammers, but now what about you? That doesn't count. There really is another standard for what happens to me. What right do you have to blame others?" Ridiculous, extremely ridiculous. Long Fei was really worried that this guy would not come out. Otherwise, he really wouldn't be able to do anything at all. "Shut up." His voice sank, and he said, furiously, "My Titan King has always kept his word." He did not expect Long Fei to be able to dodge this move. Long Fei laughed mockingly. "If you say yes or no, then come out and fight with me. You liar and coward. You are nothing but 2 centimeters worth of trash." At this point in time, he was going to have to use his mouth. Moreover, was secretly shocked in his heart when this guy called himself Titan King. Could it be the king of the Titan tribe? Wow, killing him would surely cause an uproar. However, it seems like he's already dead. It's just a remnant soul. Something that is guarded by the Titan King must be very powerful. Moreover, what was he trying to do? What does he want the infinite God of War to do? So much so that infinite God of War ignored the dangers and actually chose to trigger the heavenly tribulation to ascend. What exactly did he have to do? What huge temptation did it give him? Long Fei really wanted to know more about this. No doubt about it. There must be a secret treasure here. It was a huge secret. Come on, you scum. If you don't keep your word, come out if you have the guts." Long Fei loudly taunted, "A turtle dove." While he was cursing, Long Fei's aura kept searching. If he really doesn't want to come out, Long Fei has to think of a way to find him. Roar. With a furious roar, the space shook violently and it became unstable. The corner of Long Fei's mouth slightly curled up. It's about to come out. A foam. Stay on the side and be careful. Don't come up no matter what happens. Long Fei warned as he laughed coldly. "Come on, you don't dare, right?" Buzz. Suddenly, the hexagram exploded. A figure shot forward. Looking at the figure, Long Fei was instantly stupefied. A foam, who was at the side, was the same. Titan's ancestor should be incomparably huge, at least a few thousand meters tall, at least a few hundred meters, right? Even in his youth, he should have at least a few dozen meters, right? To retreat 10,000 steps, that should be a few meters high, right? But the virtual image that stood in front of Long Fei was more than a meter tall. This is a fucking Titan King? Is this a dwarf? Poochie. Long Fei could not help but laugh out loud. He looked at the dwarf that was covered in blood and said, "Are you here to play with me? I'm telling you, you did it." Although it was just a remnant soul, It was still a member of the Titan tribe after all. But this person was a short person. The difference was too great. However, the remnant spirit in front of him hated it when people mocked him for his short stature the most. Just now, when Long Fei's JJ was less than 2 centimeters long had stabbed into his sore spot, she was incomparably furious. The Sleeping Beauty suddenly said, "Be careful!" The Tai Tan King was furious, and a stream of energy immediately locked onto him. Long Fei reacted quickly and leaped up, shouting in his heart, "Paralyzed ring, activate! Resurrection ring, open!" After the 2 rings were opened, Long Fei dodged a move. With one leg on the wall, he flew straight up, and his expression became serious as he shouted, "If you come out, don't even think about leaving." Buzz. Leave. Humph, I never thought of leaving. The remnant soul of the Tai Tan King flew into a rage, and out of nowhere, he took out a huge anchor. The chains wrapped around him swept out. Walala! Without waiting for Long Fei to get close, the giant triangular anchor hooked onto Long Fei. Its power was extremely ferocious and unstoppable. Shwa! As if it had cut through the air. Long Fei's voice crazily collided with the spatial fragment, making it extremely difficult to endure. The anger in his heart rose, the might of a demon god. Boom! With an explosive sound, the power of the devil god within Long Fei's body burst out. The 9 tribulations sword in his hand fiercely thrust forward, heavily stabbing the ground. Flames flew in all directions. After a few seconds, Long Fei suddenly stopped. Crack! Heavenly tribulation! Slash! Long Fei rushed forward, and the energy from the 9 tribulations sword in his hand instantly filled up as a powerful energy crazily rushed towards the remnant soul of the Tai Tan King. However, Tai Tan King laughed coldly. The heavenly tribulation in your lower plane is completely useless, not to mention the God's suffering force that you cultivate in. Boom! There was no defense at all, and Long Fei directly struck him. Miss, a scarlet English number floated above Tai Tan King's head. Even if it was the powerhouse of the semi-realistic realm, this strike would still take half of his life. Ms. Long Fei couldn't believe it himself. However, and it was also at this moment that the remnant soul of the Tai Tan King fiercely rushed forward and stood half a meter away from Long Fei. With a deep voice, he shouted out, "Feel the roar that has come from the Titan tribe." Boom! His right foot stomped on the ground. There was no change, but Long Fei's mind felt as though it was destroying the world, and it was extremely uncomfortable. He howled like his head was going to explode. Boom, boom, boom. At the same time, his health point was going berserk, and it was decreasing rapidly. In the end, he finally saw the bottom. His body went limp, and he fell to the ground, dead. Tai Tan King laughed coldly and said, "You laugh at me? Is a tiny human like you worthy of it? This is what happens when you mock me." He really couldn't take that strike just now. It was too hard. The demon god's health also instantly fell to 0. However, in this state of death, there was actually an indescribable energy exploding within Long Fei's body. The power of the heavenly tribulation at the great perfection stage burst out once again. The tender bud in Long Fei's body suddenly extended its branches and leaves, transforming into a sapling. An instant of change had a huge impact on Long Fei, especially the change brought by his magic body. It was extremely small at the start, and it was as if he had control over the entire world's energy. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for the initial form of the heavenly calamity tree. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the ability Sky Fire Tribulations / Have you activated it? F asterisk CK. Does that even need to be said? Of course it's activated. At this moment, the power of perfection began to burn crazily in Long Fei's body. Whoa! Asterisk the resurrection ring started to move. Long Fei suddenly stood up. The 9 tribulations sword started to burn. Little shorty, it's my turn. I'll let you have a taste of the greetings from the heavenly tribulation. Chapter 1533. Plunder. Chapter 1533. Plunder the first time he died. The second time his full mastery, heavenly tribulation erupted. The number of times resurrection ring had been used decreased once again. However, Long Fei did not care about all this. Suddenly standing up, the 9 tribulations sword in his hand started to burn, and then the first tribulation of the 9 tribulations sword had already begun. Heavenly fire tribulation. The remnant soul of the Tai Ten King trembled and turned around. You're not dead. He was completely shocked. In the distance, Feng's face was also filled with shock. Under that kind of situation, he simply could not resist at all. He thought that Long Fei had died, but he had fully recovered and stood up again. This was too unbelievable. Long Fei did not waste time talking with Tai Tan King and immediately moved his body. Sky fire tribulation / disdain of divine retribution. Then I'll let you know what's called God's suffering force. Buzz. The flames on the 9 tribulations sword surged as the God's suffering force crazily surged out from Long Fei's body. From every direction, the pressure was as if heavenly tribulation had descended. The scene was incomparably huge. The entire space of the hexagram trembled and space distorted. It couldn't withstand the power of this tribulation. Tai Tan King's remnant soul's expression darkened and shouted, "Brat, you still don't understand. It's useless. The lower plane heavenly tribulation is useless to me." He still did not go to defend himself, because he disdained defense, because he didn't need any defense at all. He came from a higher plane, and the celestial tribulation of a lower plane was of no harm to him at all. Perhaps it was because the remnant soul of the Tai Tan King was too arrogant and looked down on the heavenly tribulation, but the divine tree inside Long Fei's body was very unhappy, and it suddenly trembled. The surge of strength by tons. A sword slashed down. This strike was like a meteor again. The flames covered the sky, crushing everything in their path. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The remnant soul of the Tai Tan King was initially as relaxed and free as it used to be, but as the power of the sky fire erupted, his body suddenly sank down, and the remnant soul started to tremble. It continued to say, "Impossible, impossible. This kind of power can't shake me at all. It's impossible for a lower plane of heavenly tribulation to..." He was very confident. He was also very clear on what kind of power could injure him. He was very sure that the lower plane of God's suffering force could not hurt him at all, but now he was frantically crushed by a surge of power. It was extremely uncomfortable. Furthermore, that kind of scorching flame power was nibbling away at his residual soul. This was the last remnant soul amongst the trillions, if it died. Ah! The remnant soul of the Tai Ten King roared out, and a strong defensive power was released. The 9 tribulations sword in Long Fei's hand exploded as well as he roared out loudly, "You should just lie on the ground obediently for me." The first trial, the heavenly fire tribulation. As soon as his strength gushed out, he didn't stop attacking. In that instant, the value of the holy source in Long Fei's body crazily decreased. As it burned crazily, the consumption rate of the holy source was too huge. Ah! The remnant soul of the Tai Tan King was still constantly roaring, blocking. Long Fei similarly continued to crush and bombard him nonstop. She absolutely did not give him the slightest chance. It was as if the entire Titan King was undergoing a tribulation. As for Long Fei, it really was heavenly tribulation. Again and again, he crushed them with heavy blows, and again, he used his most powerful defense. This was a collision between his most powerful strength and his most powerful defense, as well as a collision of concepts. The god's suffering force was irreversible. The defensive power of the Titan King was irreversible. The scene cannot be described. After an hour, rumble. A large part of the space shattered as the body of the remnant soul of the Titan King flew out and heavily collided with the thick metal door, causing it to crack. Long Fei's holy source was also exhausted, but he could not withstand it. He did not know what the situation of the remnant soul of the Titan King was, but taking advantage of his illness, Long Fei was very clear on the principle of taking his life. The instant the Titan King's remnant soul collided with the metal door, Long Fei moved and instantly appeared in front of him. The nine-fall sword finger landed on the remnant soul's face and roared out. Boom! The flames exploded as Long Fei's sword stabbed down. At this moment, the remnant soul of the Titan King suddenly kneeled on the ground. "Master, spare me!" His reaction was too fast. He suddenly knelt on the ground and begged for mercy. This caused Long Fei to be slightly taken aback. He stared at the remnant spirit in Titan King and felt the fear of death from the look in his eyes. This was the last remnant soul of the Titan King. It was also his last hope. If it dissipated, then there would really be nothing left. Then he would truly die. Spare our lives? He was only pretending to be strong himself. His current holy source was simply not strong enough, so he was not sure if he could kill the remnant soul of the Titan King. There were even those that were killed. Titan King's residual souls said, "Master, please spare my life. I am willing to be your slave." How arrogant and proud was Titan King. However, in the face of death, they had no choice but to lower their arrogant heads and become Long Fei's slaves. Death was always the most terrifying thing in this world. He had already died once, and only this remnant soul remained. If he were to die again, he would never have the chance. He was unwilling. "Be my slave." Long Fei grinned and laughed. "Who do you think you are? You think you can be my slave just because of this?" The remnant soul of the Titan King immediately said, "I am willing to offer everything I have to you, and only plead for you to let me go once." "Everything? Then tell me what you have." Long Fei smiled, faintly as he calculated in his heart. This guy must have some incredible things. The things that the Titan King protects are definitely not easy to deal with. Titan King replied, "Body of the Titan, what is this? Your body? What do I need your body for?" Long Fei was not interested in corpses. However, but the Sleeping Beauty said, "His entire body is made from Destroy God Mine." Before he even finished speaking, Long Fei's eyeballs were about to pop out, and he immediately changed his words. "Yes, I want the Titan's body. What else do I have?" It was an astonishing sky-high score that could only be exchanged for one Destroy God Mine. Moreover, Long Fei had seen the defensive power of the meteorite mine. If Titan King's body was made from Destroy God Mine, then it was really going to be posted. Titan King said, "Titan Anchor." Long Fei thought of the anchor and said, "Yes." Titan King said, "I can even pass Titan's defense. Attack power to you. I can also teach you the infinite God of War's blood vein, and I can also teach you." With a bunch of things, Long Fei was elated as if it was the new year. This was much better than a level 5 berserk, a level 6 berserk. It felt so good. However, just these? Long Fei was not stupid. He knew that all of this was just the protection of the Titan King. He must have something even more powerful. He smiled and said, "You still have more things that you haven't handed over right." Chapter 1534. Something even stronger than main artifact. Chapter 1534. Something even stronger than main artifact. It was just a robbery, so naturally they had to go through great purges. Otherwise, how could he face himself? The remnant soul of the Titan King was stunned and said, "Master, I really don't have anything else. I've given them all to you. Do you think I'm stupid? You created the infinite god of war Bloodvein, and you got the Murlocs clan to do something for you. Do you think I don't know anything? Hurry up, don't be dishonest. Otherwise." The 9 tribulations sword moved slightly as it was raised. Titan King said bitterly, "Master, there's really nothing else." Really? Long Fei felt that it was strange, but if the remnant soul of the Titan King insisted that there was nothing he could do, then he really had no way at all, just that there was nothing he could do. What could you do? Just when Long Fei wanted to give up, the Sleeping Beauty suddenly said, "He has main artifact on him." As soon as he finished, Long Fei was startled, but immediately became furious. He moved the 9 tribulations sword in his hand and placed it on the remnant spirit's neck. "Are you messing with me? You always say that humans are cunning and humans are scammers. In my opinion, you are the biggest scammer, right? Hurry up. Don't let me do it. Otherwise..." Long Fei squinted his eyes as his heart started to boil, because the main artifact, a sky-high existence, just thinking about it made him extremely excited. If the 2 main artifact were in his possession, then would he still need to find the Infinite Review, Linglong Prison, and other things to help the colorful fairy dragon regain its strength? Long Fei could immediately go back to the Tower Question of God and do everything. Long Fei was not clear about the other planes, but in the 100,000 planes controlled by the main temple, the main artifact was the supreme existence. He had obtained an incomparably heaven-defying treasure. Titan King's remnant soul felt the intense killing intent from Long Fei's eyes, and his heart sank as well. He said slightly, "I can give you this, but you have to promise me a condition." Long Fei said, "Speak." The remnant soul of the Titan King said, "Take me out, take me away from the Chaos Realm. Bring me to my people." Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for triggering the quest, "Find the Titans." Mission: search for the Titans level. Unknown time. Unknown reward. Unknown clue. Unknown. Long Fei was a little puzzled in his heart. After playing games for so many years with hundreds of different sizes, taking on so many different kinds of quests, I've never received an unknown quest before. Why is that? Because of some restriction, or what? Forget it. Let's first accept it. We have to get the main artifact. Long Fei made up his mind. However, the remnant soul of the Titan King was not easy to deal with, and said, "The thing that I am protecting is extremely special and precious. If you are unable to bring me to find my clan members, I would rather be killed by you than to give it to you." Long Fei said, "Damn, I already promised you. What else do you want?" The more Titan King was like this, the more Long Fei felt itchy in his heart. It must be a super amazing soul treasure. The remnant soul of the Titan King replied, "It's useless to just agree. Moreover, I don't believe you humans at all, and you humans aren't worthy of trust either." He truly looked down on humans from the bottom of his heart. In the world of Wild Universe, human beings were as lowly as ants. Moreover, it was known for its greed and cunning. Long Fei was a little unhappy. "Now that your life is in my hands and you're still bickering with me, do you believe that even if I kill you, you can still get the thing?" The remnant soul of the Titan King smiled and said, I can guarantee that if you kill me, you will definitely not be able to obtain that item. He is with me at the life chain. If I die, it will disappear as well. F***CK. You are ruthless. Long Fei truly wanted to give this little shorty in front of him a good beating. He was really pissed off by him and said, "Just tell me what you want me to do, right?" The remnant soul of the Tai Tin King could give him anything, and he could kneel down in order to live. But for this, he could risk his life, because it was something that the Titan tribe had to protect. No matter what, he could not give it up. The remnant soul of the Tai Tin King said slightly, "You have signed a contract with my fate soul, and only if you help me find my clansman will it truly belong to you. Before you find it, you only have the right to use it, the right to meditate, and no right to own it." Damn. Just what kind of amazing thing is going to cause this to happen? Long Fei was really too curious, and had no choice but to say, "All right, I agree." There was nothing he could do, and then the power of the Tai Tin King's remnant soul gushed out, and a hexagram array suddenly appeared at Long Fei's location. Long Fei immediately asked, "Sister, this guy won't be playing any more tricks, right?" The Sleeping Beauty said, "This is indeed a fate soul contract." Long Fei asked, "Any side effects?" The Sleeping Beauty said, "As long as you don't complete the mission, you will not be able to get rid of this fate soul contract. He will follow you forever until you die." So savage. Long Fei muttered in his heart, "Just what is that thing on his body?" The Sleeping Beauty said, "I don't know either. I can only feel an aura stronger than a main artifact from this remnant soul of his. I don't know if it is a main artifact or not." She couldn't even see it. The Sleeping Beauty is all-powerful. She could only sense it. Long Fei could not hold back and urged, "Hurry up, is it done yet?" He was dying to know what it was. More powerful than main artifact. Half a minute later, Tai Tin King's remnant soul said, "Drop a drop of your blood essence." Long Fei did, as he was told. The blood essence landed on the hexagram and emitted a bright light, immediately enveloping Long Fei's entire body. Soon after, a hexagram array appeared in the depths of his consciousness. Destiny, soul contract. Ding. System notification. The Destiny soul contract has been signed. Long Fei didn't feel anything wrong with it. He just had a slight feeling as if he had an extra soul. This feeling was very strange. The Sleeping Beauty said, "The Fate Soul contract is able to activate your Fate Soul, so you can sense that it is your Fate Soul. Wanting to compare to the Fate Soul of Tai Tin King is too weak, but this contract will not affect you at all, rest assured." Huff. Long Fei slightly said, "All right, you can take it out now, right?" He couldn't wait any longer. Even more powerful than main artifact, could Zhan Wushuang's God's shield even withstand it? Then he was about to soar into the sky. Tower question of God. 9 secret warrior family. All XX. The remnant soul of the Tai Tin King said slightly, "I will go up again, ancestor. This disciple has no choice but to do this. I also hope that ancestor can bless you and help me find my clansmen and return to the Titan tribe." He was forced to do so out of helplessness. There was no choice. Furthermore, he had to return to the Titan tribe. He let out a heavy breath, and an object slowly emerged from the remnant soul's body. Long Fei looked at the item, his eyes in a daze. What the F***CK is this? Chapter 1535. Gobbledygook. Chapter 1535. Gobbledygook. He held something up from the midst of the Tai Tin King's remnant souls. A small black box. Long Fei dumbly stared at the black chest and swallowed his saliva, thinking in his heart, "No way. You want me to open the box?" "What is it?" Uffed. After spitting out a bit of saliva and rubbing it on his hands, Long Fei restrained the excitement in his heart and said, "This daddy here's red oil pickup, I will definitely explode." Who? Long Fei quickly calmed down and walked in front of the Tai Tan King's remnant spirit. With a slight movement, his hands slowly opened the black chest. Many games now have chests open. It was completely different from this one. The box was opened with a gentle push. There was something inside. Long Fei was stunned. He was a little dumbstruck looking at that thing. He was a little confused, a little dejected, a little discouraged. What the hell is that thing? At the same time that Long Fei opened the chest, the Sleeping Beauty also took note of it. When she saw what was inside the box, the Sleeping Beauty was like a cat whose tail has been stepped on. Gobbledygook. It was a book. It was a very ancient-looking book. The cover of the book did not have any runes on it. It only needed to draw a scroll, and it was a fierce beast that Long Fei had never seen before. Powerful and domineering. With the might of a king, just that gaze alone was enough to make one's soul tremble. It was something that one would never be able to forget. In fact, it gave Long Fei the urge to involuntarily kneel down. It was just like when an ancient commoner saw an emperor. This feeling was very strong. Furthermore, a Feng, who was walking over, was already kneeling on the ground. He kowtowed and kowtowed, not daring to show the slightest disrespect. A book. Can it have such a huge impact? He couldn't stop it just by looking at it. What book? Long Fei was a magic body. The devil god was extremely arrogant. How could he kneel to others? Even if it was the real face, if he did not kneel to the heavens or to the earth, how could he kneel to a book? The Sleeping Beauty's expression was extremely excited, and she said, "Gobbledygook, gobbledygook." What gobbledygook? Long Fei was a little doubtful. His heart was empty. To be honest, he had high expectations for the things in the box. What kind of sword, knife, bottle, all kinds of holy artifact he had thought of, but he never thought it would be a book. Did not have any good impression of this book. The thing he hated most in his life was reading. If it weren't for the fact that the Sleeping Beauty was so excited, Long Fei would have immediately closed the black chest without the slightest bit of interest. The Sleeping Beauty said, "I don't know what kind of gobbledygook it is. Only those who see it will know." You don't even know? Impossible, right? Long Fei was in a state of disbelief. The Sleeping Beauty came from another big world, so it could be said that it knew everything about the things in this world. The Sleeping Beauty continued. In the legends before the birth of primordial world, there were 10 books of gobbledygook. Each of them had a different attribute. Some of them recorded unique, secret skills. Some of them included super beasts that could match the heavens. Some of them had hidden divine weapons that could surpass any main artifact. And some of them had spiritual pills and wondrous medicines that could extend their lives forever. Any one of these gobbledygook are heaven-defying existences. Even if you added up all the items from the 100,000 dimensions of this world together, they will still not be worth the price of this gobbledygook. As for what this gobbledygook is, only the people reading it will know. Hearing what the Sleeping Beauty said, Long Fei did not really understand. He asked, before the birth of primordial world, there were already 10 gobbledygooks. Is the Grand Mist world you're talking about referring to the world I'm in? The Sleeping Beauty said, "Of course not. The 100,000 planes of the world you are in are as small as a grain of sand in the universal large world." F***CK. Long Fei suddenly shouted loudly. If there were 10 gobbledygook in the 100,000 planes controlled by the main temple, then its value would be average. But when the Sleeping Beauty said this, Long Fei's little heart started to feel a little overwhelmed. Was there these 10 gobbledygooks before the birth of the universal world? Then what kind of existence was this? I really didn't think. The Sleeping Beauty was extremely excited. even more so than Long Fei. The Titan tribe is actually protecting a gobbledygook. This is too surprising. She was really excited. If Long Fei could comprehend all the things inside this gobbledygook, then she did not dare imagine that any of the 10 gobbledygook-s could become the great master. She did not say that. Just based on Long Fei's current knowledge, he could not understand what a gobbledygook was. And then Long Fei immediately asked, "What is this gobbledygook?" The remnant soul of the Titan King was slightly shocked. He looked at Long Fei in shock, and his expression tensed up. The people of this world basically do not know the existence of gobbledygook, so when Long Fei suddenly said the word gobbledygook, he could not help but be nervous. Long Fei said, "I just know. What type of gobbledygook is it? Don't hide it. You and I have already signed the Fate Soul contract, so I know what you are thinking. As for how I knew it was about the gobbledygook, you don't need to ask. I just know." Long Fei would never tell him the existence of the Sleeping Beauty. Sigh. The remnant soul of the Titan King let out a light sigh and said, "Forget it." Since he had signed the fate contract, he had no other choice. The remnant soul of the Titan King continued to speak. Before the birth of the universal world, there were 10 different gobbledygook-s. There were those that could control all the elements in the sky, those who could control mysterious beasts, those who could control divine weapons, and those who could control elixirs. Long Fei said, "All of these I know. I only want to know what the gobbledygook's attribute is." He grew more and more excited. Listening to this would not make anyone less excited. The remnant soul of the Titan King continued to speak. "We will call this gobbledygook by its name, Life and Death Gobbledygook." Long Fei's pupils contracted as he said, "Then, does it control life and death?" Wow. Awesome. To control life and death and the entire universal large world as well. Isn't this the same as having to die whoever wants it? This was much more powerful than the Yama King. I'm rich. I'm rich. When Long Fei heard the 4 words life and death gobbledygook, he started laughing excitedly. However, the remnant soul of the Titan King instantly splashed a bucket of cold water on top of it and said, "Life and death gobbledygook isn't in control of life and death." Huh. Long Fei was instantly unhappy. If you don't control life and death, what kind of life and death gobbledygook are you? Isn't this fucking bullsh *T? How awesome was it to control life and death? If you want to die, then you have to die. The remnant soul of the Titan King said, "We, the Titan tribe, do not know its real name. The life and death gobbledygook is the name we gave it. The reason it's called the life and death gobbledygook is because it needs to be in the life and death realm to understand the true meaning of life and death." Chapter 1536, Stellar World. Chapter 1536, Stellar World. Long Fei was startled and said, "Such a life and death method? Then what the heck is there to do?" It immediately shriveled up. Long Fei really thought that these gobbledygook could control life and death. Then he would really be an arrogant person. This life and death art was truly meaningless. The remnant spirit of the Titan King continued to speak. "If you can comprehend the entire set of gobbledygook, you can indeed grasp the control of life and death, which is more powerful than controlling life and death." You make it sound so awesome. Let me see what's so different about it. No matter what kind of gobbledygook it is, I have to comprehend it. Long Fei silently said in his heart. Looking at the gobbledygook in front of him, Long Fei gently flipped to the first page with a hint of excitement. Wordless gobbledygook. All black spots. Ta-da! F***K. How am I supposed to comprehend this? Long Fei muttered. Buzz. In this instant, as the light faded, the surrounding light scattered. Long Fei felt like he was in a time and space tunnel. That feeling was indescribable. Boom! With an explosion in his mind, Long Fei's body came to a stop. In the vast starry sky in front of him, he stood atop a huge star disk. Where is this place? The system sounded out. Ding! System notification. Unknown domain. Unknown domain. Long Fei muttered, "Sister, are you there?" No response. It seemed like the Sleeping Beauty was unable to enter this unknown domain. Long Fei looked at his surroundings and muttered, "Could this be the inside of the gobbledygook? Didn't you say that you want to comprehend it? What is he trying to comprehend? Are there any stars in the sky? Logically speaking, my comprehension should not be low. I should be able to understand a lot of anime in God's Martial Continent, and the powerful moves in the movies, and the gobbledygook should not be weak, but—" Long Fei was confused. He did not know where to start, and was a little confused. Gobbledygook? Boundless star. Could it be that the gobbledygook controls the stars? Star book. Damn, that's awesome. Long Fei mumbled to himself. At this time, no one could help him anymore. No one gave him any hints. He could only rely on his imagination to wildly speculate what exactly this starry sky was. Star book? Then let's start with the stars. Long Fei said, lightly, looking at the shining starry sky. It was like a diamond embedded in a black curtain, shining with a dazzling light. The bigger it is, the brighter it is, the closer it is to me. Any one of these stars could be hundreds of light years away from me. What the heck are they going to do now? I don't care. Let's give it a try first. Long Fei locked onto a star idea that was big and bright. The idea was like an ocean as it madly rushed out. This was a very special condition, one that even Long Fei himself was unable to figure out. In Chaos Realm, his idea could at most sense the auras within 1,000 kilometers. But here, his idea's senses seemed to be magnified infinitely with no end in sight. In just a few seconds, he actually, to be able to be linked with that big star, the idea must have allied together. Could it really be Star Book S? Let's give it a try. Long Fei moved, wanting to control the big star, but right at this moment, Long Fei's idea was suddenly strangled away. Ding! Fusion failed. Puffed. The moment the system sounded out, Long Fei sprayed out a mouthful of blood. He retreated explosively multiple times, as if his entire body was attacked by a huge force. It was extremely uncomfortable. Holy **T. Long Fei exhaled, and his face paled. That power. He's invincible. It was stronger than any power he had ever seen. And just the idea's attack was enough to injure his body. How strong was that? If this one doesn't work, then let's try something else. If he could actually enter this space and use idea to connect to the stars, then it meant that he could really bring out a star. Boom. Half a minute later, Long Fei was once again sent flying by a powerful force. Boom. He was sent flying once again. Boom. He was sent flying once again. Fuck, it's coming again. I don't believe it. Long Fei said. His eyebrows shook as he tried again. As long as you connect those stars once, it would be impossible to connect them the second time when you wanted to. In other words, this star has completely rejected you. The system beep as also continuously rang out. Ding. Fusion failed. Ding. Fusion failed. Ding. Long Fei's health point was plummeting at a rapid pace, almost unable to hold on any longer. And his real face, the Sleeping Beauty, kept calling out to him, "Master, Master, Master, wake up, wake up. Don't continue like this. Your current abilities can't take it anymore. Stop it. The injuries Long Fei suffered in the star realm would always appear on his body, and he was constantly spitting out blood while his entire body was filled with wounds. Afong also shouted loudly, "Master, what's wrong? Master, what happened to you?" The remnant soul of the Tai Tan King stood motionlessly in place as he muttered to himself, to be able to enter the world of gobbledygook on the first try of comprehension. Just how high is his comprehension ability? What can he comprehend? Puff, puff, Long Fei flew out and crashed into the thick metal door. His face was pale as he shouted loudly within the idea, "Again, this daddy has never failed before." Boom. His sea of consciousness moved again. Ding. Fusion failed. Boom. The stars in the sky continuously rejected Long Fei. The more Long Fei refused, the more unhappy he became. The more he wanted to fuse with one star. Buzz. Fusion failed. Bam. Again. Long Fei bellowed. It was also at this time. Ding. System notification. Player's health point is too low. Please supplement. Ding. System notification. Player's health point is too low. Please supplement. The system sounded out a red alert. Long Fei's health point was already at less than 200. She didn't know what Long Fei was doing, but she could feel that Long Fei's vital signs were dropping crazily. If he didn't stop now, he would die. I refuse to accept this. Again, with the last bit of his health, Long Fei went all out. However, this time he did not choose to attack the stars that were lightning fast, but chose to attack a star that seemed to be the dimmest in the entire starry sky. The idea moved. His sea of consciousness crazily rushed up. Other stars only took a few seconds, but this star took a whole 20 seconds. Long Fei bellowed, "Success!" Buzz. His sea of consciousness suddenly exploded, and the entire sky began to tremble. The system sounded out. Ding. Chapter 1537, Flying Door. Chapter 1537, Flying Door. If I don't succeed, I'm going to die. The resurrection ring had used it once and had not finished cooling. If it did not succeed, Long Fei would really die this time. However, he really had never been afraid before. Hearing the system's notification sound, Long Fei's chrysanthemum tightened. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for successfully fusing them. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for activating the star book. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining a star. The system sounded out continuously. Long Fei's entire body went limp as he laid on the ground and panted heavily. I finally succeeded. As expected, this is a star book. Then why did Tai Tan King call it a life and death gobbledygook? Forget it. Who cares what his name is? Let me see what use this star has. And then, the moment Long Fei's idea moved into the star that had merged with her, in that instant, it could clearly feel everything that was happening on the star. He was excited. This star, it's the biggest one. Above the stars was an enormous continent. It was a plain. However, there was nothing on this huge continent. It was desolate, withered, and yellow sand filled the air. There were no signs of life. Death Star. Long Fei's heart trembled slightly. So unlucky. If it was a Death Star, then there would be no meaning. It's just like how the humans on Earth have been searching for a suitable planet to live on. If it's a dead star, then it has no value at all. Ding! System notification. Stars are level 0, level 3, required to appear. Ding! System notification. This star is to open up your path of comprehension for the gobbledygook. The more things you comprehend, the higher the level of the star. Do you want me to create the world? If the gobbledygook stands above the universal large world, then its strength is creation? Long Fei, was overwhelmed with shock when he thought of this. The power of creation couldn't be imagined, because even sovereigns wouldn't be able to accomplish this sort of power. Even the heavens could not do it, because everything, including the gods and humans, was created by the creator of this world. This power was an unshakable existence. Long Fei realized that he did not have enough brains, and the more he thought about it, the more he realized that this gobbledygook was not simple, and this was only the first page. The entire book had over 100 pages of gobbledygook. What was behind it? It was truly unimaginable. However, what power of creation and what of a Death Star were secondary to Long Fei. Right now, what he needed the most was to obtain great power. He did not care about universal large world. What he wanted to do now was to overturn Nine's secret warrior family, overturn Zhan Wushuang, and overturn Tower Question of God. Right. Just now, I seem to have obtained a strand of star power. Long Fei opened up the system to check. Power of the stars, unmerged, grade, star attribute, unknown description, activating power, Death Star Bomb. Death Star Bomb. What is this? Could it be that I can summon that dead star down and heavily bombard it? Then, who can block this? Long Fei muttered, and felt that this was simply impossible. The Death Star was much larger than the Chaos Realm. If he was summoned out, the entire Chaos Realm would be destroyed. Fuse. Long Fei moved and fused this piece of star power. Ding! Fusion successful. And in this instant, Long Fei didn't even need the idea's senses to clearly feel everything that was happening on the Death Star, as he could clearly feel that kind of desolation. Let's go out first and ask our sister how to cultivate this type of star. Long Fei returned to reality. He suddenly took in a breath of cold air. His entire body was in intense pain, and he was in incomparable pain. Long Fei trembled slightly as he felt the wounds on his body. If you were injured in the stellar world, would the real world get injured as well? Immediately, after using his points to exchange for a few advanced healing pills, his health points stabilized. The remnant soul of the Titan King immediately came up and asked, "Master, what did you comprehend?" This was the first time in the history of the Titan tribe that he could stay for so long after entering the gobbledygook for the first time. He was very excited and wanted to know what Long Fei felt. Long Fei did not say it out loud, but said instead, "What the F***ck do you think? I almost died inside. Look at how injured I am right now. And why did I still comprehend a hammer?" The control over the gobbledygook was not in his hands. If he did not continue comprehending the remnant soul of the Titan King, that Death Star would truly continue to die. Moreover, Long Fei didn't understand the Titan King. Well, what if he cheated him? The remnant soul of the Titan King was stunned for a moment, then laughed and said, "I told you it's a life and death gobbledygook." He also didn't believe that Long Fei could sense anything the first time he entered. There was simply no such genius in the world. Gobbledygook, the most mysterious existence in the universal large world. No one could comprehend its power so easily. The Titan tribe had protected the gobbledygook for so many years, yet it had only stopped at the first page. Unable to progress, this gobbledygook was the real gobbledygook to them. They knew nothing at all, although it was reserved for Titan King. Long Fei did not hold on to the name of the person who was sleeping and said, "Girl, I just entered the gobbledygook. This book of gobbledygook, if I'm not mistaken, it should be called Star Book." "Huh. Sister, why are you crying? Don't be like that." Looking at the tear stains on the Sleeping Beauty's face, Long Fei's heart ached a little. The Sleeping Beauty said, "Master, can you not be like this in the future? I'm really worried." No matter how strong gobbledygook were, they weren't as important as Long Fei's life. Long Fei scratched his head. The feeling of being cared for was really good. And he said, I will pay more attention next time. Quickly tell me about this star world. The star that I'm fusing with right now is a huge dead star. It's a desolate scene, but I can absorb power from it. What if I can make it stronger? The power of the stars was the power of this Death Star. Sleeping Beauty said, What did you just say, gobbledygook? Star book. The third in the top 10 gobbledygooks. Is it also the most difficult book to comprehend? Just now he fused with a star? The Sleeping Beauty looked at Long Fei in disbelief and said, Master, you're too awesome. Do you know that even in the universal large world, S-dreams, they dream of having a star of their own, and even in their dreams they dream of fusing with the stars? Because as long as one fused with the stars, they would be able to gain insights into the power of creation, and also the power to exterminate the world. You're really too amazing. If you can cultivate this star and completely understand all of the gobbledygook, then we can be fearless. Dragon race can be fearless too. Long Fei said, Then how do I cultivate it? The Sleeping Beauty shook her head and muttered, I don't know. The gobbledygook can only rely on you to comprehend it. It's the same for star cultivation. But, Master, you have opened a flying gate. Chapter 1538, Titan King, where is your anchor? Chapter 1538, Titan King, where is your anchor? Flying door? It was very frightening. What the Sleeping Beauty said was indeed too eye-catching, but Long Fei did not think much of it. He could not care about the universal large world right now. He wanted to do it now. The future was too far in the future, and grasping the present was the key. After activating the gobbledygook, Long Fei only obtained one star, one strand of power, and one move. As for the rest, that would be a long time in the future. Keeping his thoughts, Long Fei looked at the remnant spirit of the Titan King and said, Now I have to leave, but before I do, there is something you have to do. The remnant soul of the Titan King was extremely respectful to Long Fei because he was the first person to have stayed in the gobbledygook world for so long, and said, Master, please speak. Long Fei said, Back then you created the infinite god of war blood vein, and now you have passed it down to my big brother. The remnant soul of the Titan King was startled and said, Master, didn't I pass it on to you? Long Fei said, Give it to him. Titan King did not ask any further and immediately replied, Understood. Afong was a little excited. He looked at Long Fei and said, Master, Long Fei said, Don't be long-winded. Accept the blood veins inheritance. We still need to hurry back. The infinite god of war was the god in the whitebait race's heart. He had an unerasable will and inheritance. If he accepted this kind of blood vein, what would happen? Moreover, he had Devourer's vein S in his body. Half an hour later, the remnant soul of the Titan King recovered slightly and said, It's done. Afong sat cross-legged. His entire body was scarlet red. His muscles seemed to be moving, especially the veins on his upper body, which flickered with a fluorescent light, the powerful blood vein energy being released from his body crazily. Buzz, buzz. After a few explosions in the air, a stream of energy swirled around Afeng's body, which could be seen with the naked eye. In just a few short minutes, the aura around Afeng's body had undergone an earth-shaking change, which was extremely strong. A whitebait race, the army of the tiger shark, and the Murlocs clan surrounded the entire silverfish tribe. You actually killed my son? Tianjio, I'm going to make you pay the price of clan extermination. A tall and sturdy tiger shark elder, whose muscles seemed to be filled with explosive power, said. Whitebait Chiefs closed his eyes, which flashed with a ray of light, and said solemnly, Whitebait race, warrior, listen up, prepare to fight. At this point, Even if he kneeled on the ground and begged for mercy, he would still die. It would be better to fight to our heart's content, or at least die a little more brazenly. Quick, him. Patriarch, it's all that human's fault. If it wasn't for him, our whitebait race would have reached such a state today. Now that brat has left. He left us here to suffer. Humph. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. While they were talking, an elder ran out and shouted, "Great clan elder, this is all done by a phone, and that human, it has nothing to do with us. Please spare my life." Before he could finish his words, the tiger shark great elder suddenly moved and smashed his palm against the elder's chest. He sucked in a deep breath and said, "I told you before, I want your whitebait race to be exterminated." Boom. His body suddenly split into pieces, and he died in an extremely miserable manner. Many of the silverfish warriors trembled, revealing a terrified expression. The people of Tiger Shark tribe were too powerful, and their whitebait race was not a match for him. The great elder snorted coldly and said, "Tianzhou, you colluded with the humans. According to the law of the fish people, you should be executed immediately. Today is the perfect day. I will replace the Fishman tribe and exterminate your cowardly whitebait race." As soon as he finished, the great elder pointed with his sea deity trident and said, "Kill them all. Leave none alive." The whitebait chief's gaze tightened as a red glow appeared on Song Long's face. Clenching his fists tightly, he released a powerful force and rushed forward fiercely. With a shout, he said, "It is not your turn to teach my whitebait race a lesson." "Humph, you reckless old thing." The tiger shark great elder sneered, and then activated the imprint. The huge fish palm struck out. It directly wrapped around whitebait chief's fist and sneered, "Your whitebait race's little strength is not even enough to tickle me." Crack! With a sudden squeeze, the joints on whitebait chief's right hand exploded, and his entire hand was crushed. However, he sneered and said, "Whitebait race is much stronger than I imagined." In that instant, with a sudden movement of his left hand, he threw a punch forward. His right hand was only a feint, while his left was all he had. The tiger shark great elder sneered, "Old thing, like I said, your strength is not enough to deal with me." Another hand wrapped around it. Only this time it was slightly different. The power of whitebait chief's left hand became extremely strange, and the moment it smashed into his palm, bang, 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 with his palm broken, a wave of power pierced through his entire arm, completely shattering the bones in his arm and shooting out from his shoulder. The tiger shark great elder screamed in pain. One of his hands was already crippled. However, the tiger shark great elder moved his strength, and the pain made him break out in a cold sweat like rain. "Break my hand? I will break your hand too." His body fiercely charged forward. Grabbing whitebait chief's right arm, he suddenly tore it apart. Crack! His entire arm was torn off and blood spewed out. "Patriarch! Patriarch!" the people of whitebait race exclaimed. Whitebait chiefs also fell from the sky. His face was pale, but he did not even frown as he said, "I'm fine. Do you see that? Tiger Shark tribe isn't scary either. They'll also be injured." He used one arm to cheer his people up. He knew clearly in his heart that he was no match for the Tiger Shark great clan elder. The strength he used just now was already a loss of longevity, and it wouldn't be long before he died. The tiger shark great elder's face turned pale from the pain. He became furious and shouted, "Kill them all!" Tiger Shark as fiercely rushed forward. Elder Silverfish rushed forward and said, "Whitebait race, fear nothing. God of war, bless me. Kill." He went straight against it. In the blink of an eye, a battle erupted. Although whitebait race's morale was boosted, their numbers were not comparable. In less than 10 minutes, they could no longer hold on. Silverfish Elder muttered in his heart, "Afong, you are the last hope of the whitebait race. Don't ever come back. You must continue to pass on the legacy of the whitebait race." Immediately, he was ready to throw caution to the wind. In the distance, Long Fei and Afong rushed over at top speed. Seeing that the Silverfish tribe was surrounded by the warrior, Afong became anxious and could not wait to rush over. His speed kept increasing. However, no matter how fast they wouldn't be able to arrive in an instant. Long Fei was also extremely anxious. "Please don't let anything happen to me. Please don't let anything happen to me. The infinite review hasn't been given to me yet. Please don't let anything happen to her." Suddenly, Long Fei moved and asked, "Tai Ten King, where is your Tai Ten King's body? Where is your anchor?" Chapter 1539, Beauty Palace. Chapter 1539. Beauty Palace, the remnant soul of the Tai Ten King, gave him a lot of things, big fellows of all kinds. However, Long Fei did not accept and returned all of these things to him. He let the remnant soul continue to control his own body, the incomparably huge Titan tyrant body. The remnant soul of the Tai Ten King moved. "Understood." Suddenly, the sea water suddenly compressed, and a huge anchor shot out like a cannon. At this moment, when the Tai Ten King's huge body appeared in the water, Long Fei grabbed onto Afong and said, "Let him lead us there." Walala! A loud sound echoed out. Tai Ten King suddenly pulled at the bottom of the sea. Like a shooting star, the ship flew over the Silverfish tribe in an instant. Afeng's body dropped, as though he was an incomparably agile silverfish. Shwa! With a sound, it pierced through the bubble and landed in front of Whitebait Race. Long Fei moved. The remnant soul of the Tai Tan King kept the Titan's body. His entire body was probably over 10,000 meters tall, almost like a huge mountain. It was just that the Sea of Infinitas was too deep. Otherwise, his body would have directly towered above the sea level. Afong is back. Afong is back. Afong is back. Many of the Silverfish warriors were excited. Afong swept his eyes across them. Looking at the ferocious tiger shark and warrior, he shouted loudly, "Prepare to counterattack! Patriarch, Patriarch, Patriarch is about to die." At this moment, a sound came from the tent. Just as Long Fei was about to enter the bubble and heard that the Patriarch was about to fall apart, he was suddenly struck dumb and thought in his heart, "My master, please do not let anything happen to you." The infinite review was the key for the colorful fairy dragon to recover its strength. His purpose for coming here was the infinite review, and now that he finally found it, if the whitebait chiefs died, then he would have nothing left. Immediately, Long Fei quickly rushed to the tents, shouted loudly, "All of you move aside for me." The might of the devil god burst out, instantly blowing away the elders inside the tent. Seeing the whitebait chiefs on the bed bleeding profusely from his left arm, his face extremely pale, Long Fei became even more worried and asked, "How did you do it?" One of the clan elders said, "Patriarch has overdrawn his lifespan, so he has heavily injured the tiger shark great clan elder, and he himself. Exhausted longevity. Do you want to die?" Long Fei muttered. At this moment, Afong anxiously ran in and said, "Patriarch." Whitebait chiefs saw that the spiral patterns on Afeng's body were different from before, and also it's extremely similar to the spiral on the statue of the war god, which meant that he succeeded. His expression became excited. "Afong, you succeeded?" The whitebait chiefs sat up with much difficulty. His expression was excited as he said, "Good, good, good. Our whitebait race finally has hope. He was showing signs of dying. He couldn't die. Longfei said lightly, "A Fong, you go out and defend against the tiger shark first. Leave this to me. Everyone get out of here." Immediately. The might of a demon god was irreversible. A thick and powerful aura was released. With a trace of fear in their hearts, they didn't dare to say a single word, and all quickly retreated out of the camp. A Fong also quickly rushed out. Longfei looked at whitebait chiefs and said, "Swallow this pill." The whitebait chiefs shook his head and said, "It's useless. My lifespan is almost completely used up, even with immortal pills. It's useless. You better not waste it. As for the matter that I promised you," cough, cough, cough. A series of rapid coughs. He coughed out a large mouthful of blood. Longfei didn't care that much as he picked up the pellet and pressed it into his mouth. A wave of palm force was used to catalyze the pellet against his chest as he said faintly, "With me here, it won't be that easy for you to die. But remember, if anyone asks, you must not tell them that I gave you this pill." What pill did Longfei give him? Life Essence, the longevity elixir that old Lord Taishang refined. It could increase lifespan by 100 years. However, Longfei did not say what this pellet was called. The pill entered his mouth. The medicinal power of the pill was quickly released, and waves after waves of power filled his body, quickly tempering himself. In that moment, whitebait chiefs felt like he was young. His entire body was filled with power. The pain disappeared. The exhaustion of his lifespan disappeared. Whitebait chiefs was stupefied. He looked at Longfei, dumbstruck, and said, "This medicinal pellet." Longfei said, "Don't ask so much. Can you give me the infinite review now?" The whitebait chief's eyes were filled with gratitude as he said, "Even if you don't save me, if you help a Fong to obtain the infinite god of war's blood vein, I will still honor my promise." While they were talking, whitebait chiefs took out an ancient box from under the bed and said, "I only have the second half of the heaven's mirror." Longfei took the ancient box and opened it. Inside the ancient box was a stack of bamboo slips, which were engraved with all sorts of strange runes. He could not find any energy at all. He didn't feel any energy either. The idea moved and asked, "Shenlong, is this an infinite review?" The colorful fairy dragon said, "Yes." "Oh no." Longfei asked again, "Patriarch, do you know where the first half is?" Whitebait chief said, "In Beauty Palace." "Beauty Palace?" Longfei was a little doubtful and asked, "What kind of place is this?" The whitebait chief said, "The palace of the mermaid race is also the most mysterious place in the Sea of Infinitas, and the Murlocs clan is also under their control." Mermaid clan. Wow. Longfei's Adam's apple tumbled. He instantly felt that he was going to be happy and said, "Clan leader, thank you." It was also at this time. Longfei smiled. "Mermaid, I have seen her in movies before, but this time..." Ha ha ha. All sorts of filthy images appeared in his mind. "I'm too evil. I am a demon god. I should be evil." Walking out of the tent, he looked at the chaos in the square. However, a Fong had single-handedly fought all of the tiger shark tribes, and even had the upper hand. Everyone around was stunned. Longfei grinned. "A Fong, it's too slow. Heavenly King, Beast King, hurry up and finish the battle." "Understood." Roar, roar. Two war beasts from semi-realistic realm rushed out from the war pet space, like two heavy tanks charging forward, directly sending a portion of the tiger shark flying. Ding, ding, ding. The system beep as echoed crazily. Experience points. His energy values was soaring madly. It was a massacre. A few minutes later, all of the tiger shark had been killed. However, the tiger shark great clan elder had escaped at an unknown time. Patriarch, The tiger shark great clan elder has escaped. I'm afraid he will bring an even larger army of tiger shark with him. Should we avoid them? An elder said. Long Fei said, Afong, do you know the location of the tiger shark tribe? Afong replied, I know. Long Fei grinned and said, It's just right. I need to level up now. You lead the way. I'll kill off the tiger shark tribe. It should be able to level up, right? Furthermore, Long Fei's mind did not think about anything else. It was all about the beauty palace. Mermaid, Big Brother is here. Ha ha ha. Chapter 1540, Annihilation. Chapter 1540, Annihilation Tiger Shark Tribe. Chief, something terrible has happened. He's here. They're coming. They're charging in. The entire tiger shark tribe was in chaos. Many of the warriors were fleeing everywhere. Many people did not even know what was happening. They only knew that the tiger shark tribe was about to be finished. In the entire Murlocs clan, the tiger shark tribe was the strongest existence. Who could match up to him? But now, it had actually turned into such a miserable state. It was unimaginable. What happened? The tiger shark tribe lord was also confused. He had not figured out what was going on. Who dares to invade my tiger shark tribe? The great clan elder replied, It's the whitebait race. Impossible. The head of the tiger shark tribe immediately shouted, Whitebait race is like an ant right now. How could they dare to lay their hands on me? The great elder said, There's still one more human. There's only 2 of them. The clan leader has no one who can stop them right now. Let's hurry up and go. Human. A mere human like you is nothing to worry about. The tiger shark tribe's eyes were filled with anger. He shouted in a deep voice, Tiger shark tribe, warrior, listen up. Boom. The aura around his body trembled violently, and his killing intent surged. He grabbed a gigantic trident spear in his hand and rushed forward with large strides. All the warrior in the hall followed him out. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Gods were beasts. Beast king question of God ran rampant, madly killing. Those tiger shark tribe were completely no match for them. A Feng's cultivation slowly activated the infinite god of war blood vein, and its power increased every second. Not a single one that can fight. The gods war beasts disdained. The beast king question of God grinned and said, This kind of tiger shark tribe can dominate Murloc's clan. It was also at this time. Boom. A huge aura surged up like a wave of water. The gods war beast's eyes flashed with excitement, after which she rushed forward and said, I'll do it. He moved his body to block. His hands formed into palms as he struck them towards the powerful force. Boom. With the burst of power, a shock wave caused the surroundings to tremble violently. The gods war beasts retreated a few steps. Its face turned sinister as it sneered, Hee hee, interesting. Instantly, the tiger shark tribe's internal organs were churning. His expression was somewhat ugly. He said with a deep voice, I wonder what matter my tiger shark tribe has to offend you too? Afong said, Haven't tiger shark tribe been bullied enough by you all these years? Whitebait race. The tiger shark tribe stared coldly at Afong, not putting him in his eyes at all. His gaze shifted to Long Fei as he said, You don't seem to be whitebait race, right? Someone come. Bring everything out. As soon as he finished. A few tiger shark tribe brought out a few boxes of treasures. All of them were some treasures. Some were valuable items. Tiger shark tribe said, Master, these things are considered my gifts to you. I hope you can leave the tiger shark tribe. Money makes the difference. Humans are especially greedy. As long as you can afford it, they are willing to do anything for you. Long Fei looked at the 3 boxes of soul treasures, smiled, and said, That's it. Tiger shark tribe laughed and said, There's more. He could see the greed in Long Fei's eyes, and he thought to himself, No one is not greedy. As long as you are greedy, I can satisfy you. If the two beasts were so sharp, how strong was Long Fei himself? He didn't know. But as long as Long Fei left the tiger shark tribe, he would immediately kill a foe and exterminate the whitebait race. And then another 2 boxes of spiritual treasures were brought out, and the tiger shark tribe said, "Master, is this enough?" A foe, who was at the side, shivered slightly. He was worrying. Long Fei smiled lightly and said, "That's enough, thank you." The idea moved, and all 5 boxes of soul treasures were put into the space ring. And in that instant, they were all exchanged into points. Not bad, you exchanged for 3,000 finishing points. Tiger Shark Tribe said, "Master, can you leave now?" Long Fei smiled faintly and said, "Leave? When did I ever say I was leaving? Heavenly King, Beast King, kill." Ha ha ha. Understood. The Beast King question of God and God's war beasts moved, and fiercely rushed out, releasing a strong power in an instant. The 2 great war beasts released their power at the same time and directly smashed into the Tiger Shark Tribe's chest. Bang, bang. Off. The Tiger Shark Tribe elder was sent flying. Without waiting for him to fall, the 2 war beasts attacked once again. With 2 more heavy blows, the Tiger Shark Tribe elder was killed. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Tiger Shark Tribe elder for obtaining 20,000 experience, 20,000 holy source, and 10 energy values. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining... Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, 36. Ha ha ha. This is great. I leveled up again. The power within the demon god's body surged again, becoming stronger by a level. Every time Long Fei upgraded, he could feel his strength becoming stronger. This feeling felt great. Walking in front of the Tiger Shark Tribe elder, he sneered, "If I leave, how am I going to level up? These are all experience, and these are all energy values." Ha ha. Kill. With the death of the Tiger Shark Tribe, the headless dragons of the Tiger Shark Tribe fled in all directions. The 2 beasts killed anyone they saw, but they did not care about anything else. The system beep went berserk. The experience points exploded. As his energy values soared, his current berserk level had reached the unprecedented level 7 berserk. However, this was still not Long Fei's goal. His goal was level 10. Explode his world upside down. In another place, Patriarch, the Tiger Shark Tribe, might be annihilated. In the deepest part of the Sea of Infinitas, it was an incomparably beautiful palace, and every place was incomparably luxurious and beautiful. Every place was like a girl's room. However, this was actually the Sea of Infinitas' forbidden area. Even the ancient monster did not dare to approach him, because they were afraid. Beauty Palace, Mermaid Clan's territory. They were the leaders of the Murlocs clan and the hegemons of this Sea of Infinitas. A mermaid who was beautiful to the point where she couldn't be compared to the mortal world asked, "Is that the human that killed the infinite cuttlefish?" The hall was filled with mermaid clan people. Every single one of them was beautiful to the extreme. "This is a man's heaven," a beautiful warrior said. It's that man, Whitebait Chiefs, has already handed over half of his infinite review. Patriarch, what should we do? Infinite review. Mermaid Patriarch's gaze darkened slightly. This was the treasure they were protecting, and they had initially been worried that it would be snatched away by the whitebait race alone. From the looks of it, the whitebait race was willing to sacrifice anything to survive. What are you afraid of? As long as he's here, I can guarantee that he won't be able to return. Chapter 1541, Ancient Monster Formation. Chapter 1541, ancient monster formation to be able to become the leader of the Murlocs clan and the overlord of Sea of Infinitas. How could it be simple? Moreover, the mermaid tribe was an absolute forbidden area. If they didn't have enough strength, would they be able to do it? Definitely not. Different from the whitebait race, they had also mastered a sacred art because of the power of the infinite review, which they had protected as a supreme treasure. It was also because of this ability that allowed them to control the Sea of Infinitas and become the overlord. Who would attack? They would even pay the price of death. This was the reason why the Tiger Shark tribe was so strong and did not dare to be disrespectful to the Beauty Palace in the slightest. Boom. Boom. The Gods War beast shook its neck and said, "Boss, it's done. There really isn't anyone that can fight it. F***CK. You yourself are a semi-realistic realm. Although these fishmen are powerful, the level difference is too great." Long Fei looked at Afong and said, "Now you don't have to worry." Afong was incomparably grateful and said, "Thank you, sir." Long Fei said, "You can go back now and cultivate properly. I believe that one day you will become the new generation of infinite god of war. The blood vein I created would naturally be different. He will definitely become an infinite god of war. Is that even necessary?" Afong said, "Master, do you really want to go to Beauty Palace?" Long Fei said, "Amen, I must go. The infinite review must be obtained, no matter the cost. In the Chaos realm, he could not find any stronger strength to fight against the gods, so he could only rely on the power of the colorful fairy dragon. Star Book were very strong. However, the power that Long Fei had comprehended was too little. He was unable to unleash the star power of the gobbledygook. Even if he used it, he would not be able to fight against so many gods. The Star Book only allowed Long Fei to obtain a flying door. It did not provide much help in the Chaos realm, and he did not have much time to comprehend it. What he wanted was the power to overturn the gods. He couldn't concentrate on his training. Thus, the infinite review must be obtained. Afong said, "Master, the Beauty Palace is a forbidden ground of the Murlocs clan. They possess a powerful ability. They can summon a giant demon. To be able to make the giant demons of the Sea of Infinitas fight for them. This is their power. It's extremely terrifying." Long Fei was secretly shocked. There is such a divine ability. I really hope that she can summon all of the sea demons of the entire Sea of Infinitas over here. That way, I can quickly rise in power. Long Fei was secretly delighted. Then he said, "I will be careful." At this time, Afong took out something similar to a badge from his chest pocket and said, "Sir, this is our whitebait race's spatial badge. If you need help, as long as you shatter the badge, as long as you are anywhere in the Chaos realm, we will immediately rush over." There was more than one such spatial badge on Long Fei's body. The Queen of Blood Moon had also given it to him. The Phoenixes had also given it to him. Long Fei did not refuse and said, "All right, I'll stay by my side. Afong, train hard. You will become a new generation infinite god of war the next time we meet." Long Fei said in anticipation. Afong clenched his fists tightly and said, "Master, I will definitely work hard." And then Afong gave Long Fei directions to the Beauty Palace. Long Fei withdrew the two great battle beasts and rushed to Beauty Palace, thinking in his heart, "Beauty Palace, what an attractive place. Mermaid, Big Brother is coming. Report. The Tiger Shark tribe is dead. Beauty Palace conference room. The mermaids were shocked when they heard the news. I never thought that the extremely powerful Tiger Shark tribe would be exterminated. Just those heinous thugs in Tiger Shark tribe. I have been seeing them burn, kill, and loot everywhere. I have long displeased with them. For the past few years, What have they done to Murloc's clan? It is good that their entire clan has been exterminated. What is the background of this human? Who cares what kind of background he has, as long as he dares to come to the beauty palace? I'll make him die. Clan leader, he is heading towards our beauty palace. We should be making preparations. They did not feel much regret over the tiger-shark tribe's extermination. On the contrary, the destruction of the tiger-shark tribe made many tribes of the Murloc's clan excited because they had always gotten rid of this poisonous tumor. Mermaid Patriarch said, "Activate defense." And then, from the depths of Beauty Palace came a buzzing sound, like the cries of a blown conch. Waves of sound were transmitted outwards, as if it was real. It went straight to every corner of the Sea of Infinitas. Next, boom, boom, boom. Explosions came from the depths of the ocean that was millions of kilometers away. In just a few minutes, the entire Sea of Infinitas started to stir up, as if it was a group of angry beasts. Even the slumbering ancient monster began to wake up and rush to Beauty Palace. His speed was as fast as flying. What a strong sound wave! This sound wave! Longface shivered inwardly. After the sound wave, he discovered that all kinds of fishes were crazily fleeing, as if they had seen a ghost. They didn't even dare to go closer. Could it be? This is the voice that summoned the giant demon? Ha ha! Sisters, this isn't the way to treat our guests. Longface grinned and excitedly laughed. Since it's like this, then I will wait a little longer. After you all summon all the ancient monster over, then we can go over. It seems like my experience will skyrocket again. Longface was not in a hurry. It was great to have someone help him lead the monsters. In just half a day, the aura emitted from the water became more and more intense. The ripples carried the powerful aura of giant demons. They were the overlords of the water, and the moment they met each other, they would be existences that risked their lives. However, in front of the Beauty Canyon, they did not fight with each other. Instead, they wanted to guard the front line like guards. Patriarch, the ancient monster has been gathered. As long as that human dares to appear, he will definitely die without a burial ground. A mermaid warrior said excitedly, who could break through the ancient monster formation. No human can do it. One had to know. This was the Sea of Infinitas' strongest power. Mermaid Patriarch was still a little worried because she sensed Longface's position. Why did he stop? Scared. If he's scared, why doesn't he leave? A Murloc's clan said, Patriarch, don't worry, he won't be able to pass through. The ancient monster formation isn't something that just anyone can pass through. He definitely won't do it. The Mermaid Patriarch said slightly, we also need to prepare for the worst. Mermaid clan would be protected by the giant demons. Their cultivations could be said to be the weakest existence in the entire Murloc's clan, but other than the giant demon protection, they also had a backup plan. The mermaids looked at her in surprise. Humph. Almost all gathered, right? All right. Now it's my turn. Longface grinned and stepped forward. Chapter 1542, Breaking Formation in One Strike, Flaming Serpent Dance. Chapter 1542, Breaking Formation in One Strike, Flaming Serpent Dance. In the distance, a vast expanse of darkness. It blocked his line of sight, just like a black cloud pressing down on a city. Powerful, incomparably powerful. The gods' war beasts became excited. Finally, we can have a good fight. The Beast King question of God also said, my fist is already unable to endure the thirst. In front of them was a gigantic canyon, and the two sides of the canyon were densely packed with ancient monsteress, all of them being ferocious beasts. The moment they saw Longface's figure, they immediately released the chi from their bodies. Boom, boom, roar, woo. Suppressing pressure, the giant demon's roaring voice crazily crushed down on him. Long Fei's sea of consciousness churned up a huge wave over 30,000 meters as he lightly said, "He really is King strong." And then Long Fei slightly shouted, "Get ready! CK them." Buzz. Long Fei's right hand moved, and the 9 tribulation sword appeared in his hand. The first tribulation's flame burned, and his body suddenly charged into the ravine like a streak of fire. When he was still more than 10 meters away from the valley, Long Fei bellowed, "Go! God's war beasts!" Ha ha ha! A burst of wild laughter sounded out, and the God's war beasts rolled its body, heavily smashing into the giant demon that was guarding the entrance of the canyon like a ball. The moment it was flung into the air, the God's war beast's body suddenly shot out and leaped into the air. It summoned its God's war hammer and smashed down with its hammer. Die! Rumble! In that instant, Long Fei released the Beast King question of God, shattering the formation of a large group of ancient monster into pieces. Long Fei landed on the ground, the corner of his mouth slightly raised, coldly laughed, and said, "Kill them all for me." Releasing the might of the devil god, Long Fei stepped forward step by step as a giant demon rushed in front of him. His body was like steel, holding onto a huge boulder. He smashed it towards Long Fei's head. Boom. However, without waiting for the huge demon to smash down, Long Fei's figure changed, and he pierced through its heart with his sword, his figure passing right through it. With a cold laugh, he said, "Die." Its huge body collapsed. The system sounded out. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Ancient Monster for obtaining 37,000 experience, 30,000 holy source, and 1 energy values. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Giant Demon Blood Vein. Congratulations, player. The system sounded out one after another. Long Fei looked at the beauty palace in the canyon and shouted, "Sisters, Big Brother is about to charge in." The idea sank. The divine tribulation tree in his body shook. Whoa! A powerful force burst forth. Boom! The power of the heavenly fire tribulation surged out. With a sweep of his eyes, power began to frantically revolve. The power of the heavenly fire tribulation on the 9 tribulations sword suddenly erupted. Rumble! Heaven fire calamity, fire serpent frenzy. Rumble! Rumble! The fire snake on the 9 tribulation sword roared sinisterly. It was arrogant even in the deep sea because this flame was a god's suffering force. The fire serpents shot out in a straight line, illuminating the entire canyon. At the same time, explode! Long Fei bellowed, and the fire serpent suddenly swept forward. Boom, boom, boom. The ancient monster were killed one by one. They were extremely strong, especially when their bodies reached the state of invincible defense. But no matter how powerful the laws were, they still wouldn't be able to escape the bombardment of the power of the celestial tribulation and be crushed. Wherever the fire serpent went, not a blade of grass grew. Boom. Ding, ding, ding. The system beep in Long Fei's mind crazily sounded as if it was going to explode. The experience points began to surge violently. In just a few seconds. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, 39. A few seconds later. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up from Magic Body to Magic Body. Current level, 40. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up from Magic Body to Magic Body. Current level, 40. Continuously rising 3 levels. A great stroke. The gods wore beasts looked displeased and said, "Boss, can't you let us play a bit more? It wasn't easy for me to find a bunch of good fighters, and now I'm even giving them a hammer." The beast king question of God's face was also filled with grievance and said, "Boss, can you not be like this?" Sorry. I can't hold it in." Ha ha ha. Long Fei smiled faintly, but he was also secretly shocked in his heart. This is great. The higher the level, the stronger the strength. I thought that it would at most cause them to lose half their HP, but who would have thought that they would all be instantly killed? Not even he could have imagined this. The power of the heavenly fire tribulation was actually this powerful. Of course, this was also because he had leveled up these past 2 days. If the first heavenly fire tribulation is already so powerful among the 9 tribulations, then what is the second tribulation? Third, fourth, what was the 9th tribulation? F***CK. Could it be that I'll finally be able to control the heavenly tribulation in this world? Oh my God, isn't this too abnormal? Long Fei couldn't help but become excited. However, there was something even more exciting for him to do now. That is the Beauty Palace. The ancient monster on both sides of the canyon had all been killed, and the Beauty Palace not far away looked like a dragon palace in a movie world. All dead. The ancient monster formation was instantly broken. Patriarch, what do we do now? The Beauty Palace was in chaos. Long Fei was too strong. In a single move, he broke through the ancient monster array, and now only a single Beauty Palace remained. They, the Mermaid Warrior S, were simply unable to resist it. Mermaid Patriarch's expression was also secretly cold as he said, "Let's go out and take a look. What exactly does he want to do?" "Patriarch, you can't. Humans are all sinister villains, and humans are all extremely lecherous, just in case he makes any excessive requests." "Yeah. Chief, didn't we say that there was more?" "Activate it." "No way," Mermaid Patriarch said slightly. "The killing power of that thing is too great. Unless absolutely necessary, you can't use it. Follow me and take a look." And then the mermaid rushed out with her people. At this moment, Long Fei was at the entrance of the Beauty Palace, looking at the 2 mermaid warrioress. His lips curled into a smile, and he said, "She's even more beautiful than the mermaids in the movies." Ha ha ha. I feel like I'm not far from having a good sex life anymore. But where does this mermaid come from? His mind was filled with filth. However, if a normal man saw a mermaid, he would definitely cry. It was also at this time a bunch of mermaids came out. The leader had a crown on her head, and her entire person was extremely dazzling. She looked at Long Fei and said coldly, "This is a forbidden ground for humans. What are you doing here?" Long Fei smiled slightly. "What are you trying to do? I want to kill you." Chapter 1543, Poseidon's Wrath. Chapter 1543, Poseidon's Wrath. He blurted out. He couldn't help it. Moreover, Long Fei was indeed thinking about this matter, and he couldn't bear to see a woman that was so high up, so cold and proud like an iceberg. As the demon god of death, he couldn't bear to see her even more. "You are cold and proud. You're like an iceberg? Then the more I want to kill you." However, Long Fei's words instantly angered the entire mermaid clan. "Human, to dare insult our clan chief, do you want to die?" "Chief, I said humans are filthy." "Patriarch, what are you waiting for? Destroy him." "Humans don't have any good things. Just look at his lustful look makes me feel disgusted." All of them were incomparably furious. To insult the clan leader was to insult Mermaid Clan. Mermaid Patriarch was very calm, with the same aloof, Queen of Ice expression as she coldly asked, "What exactly do you want to do?" Long Fei said very straightforwardly, I want to kill you. You're courting death. Patriarch, I can't take it anymore. Chief, why are you wasting your breath on him? Kill him. Long Fei simply did not care about his life. Long Fei laughed excitedly and said, if you guys are unhappy, then I can also work for you guys. Long Fei's words were like adding oil to fire, instantly enraging the entire mermaid clan. It was as if they wanted to drink all of Long Fei's blood and eat him alive. Mermaid Patriarch's expression became even colder, and he said, I'd advise you to leave. If not, I would not be courteous to you. The human in front of her was completely different from any other human she had ever seen. His calmness was something she had never seen before. Although there was a frivolous smile on his face, it gave her a sense of dread. This man, they could not be easily provoked. Long Fei said, Don't be so polite. Don't be so rude to me. Mermaid Patriarch squinted. I'll warn you one more time. Don't warn me. Bring it on. Long Fei was not afraid. He did not even put these mermaids in his eyes. What power did they have? However, immediately, he realized that he was wrong. Mermaid Patriarch frowned and said solemnly, Poseidon's wrath. Buzz. A loud noise came from the depths of Beauty Palace. Long Fei frowned. This kind of loud noise seems a little familiar. The Gods War beasts suddenly spoke out. Boss, it sounds like the sound of a missile being fired from your mothership. What's the situation here? Boss, is the mothership still on the sea? That's not right. I remember you putting it away. The moment the two of them spoke, Long Fei instantly recalled them. Furthermore, this was not the sound of a missile being fired, but rather, it was the sound of the dragon coffin. Damn. The heck, isn't he too irritable? The reason the ancient monster were summoned by the mermaid clan was not because of some special power, but because they were afraid of the Poseidon's wrath. The truly terrifying part, it was the Poseidon's wrath. It was the holy artifact that ruled over the Sea of Infinitus. Long Fei's scalp went numb, and he felt that he was already locked on. Main gun's power? If the target is locked on, it will be killed in one shot. Am I going to die? Rumble! A loud sound rang out as a powerful shockwave soared into the sky. He's here. Long Fei tensed up and shouted out solemnly, Titan King! Buzz! Rumble! The Titan King, who was being controlled by the remnant soul of the Titan King, suddenly blocked in front of Long Fei. It was incomparably huge, and the moment he appeared, he shocked all of the mermaid claness. What's that? What monster is that? It's way too big, much bigger than those ancient monsteress. What is it? It doesn't matter what it is. I have to die anyway. The Poseidon's wrath had never failed. Anyone who violated the beauty palace would have to pay the price of death, and no one could escape. In their hearts, Long Fei could not do the same. In that moment of life and death, Titan King stood in front of Long Fei. Rumble! Rumble! A huge cannon shot out, heavily smashing onto Titan King's chest. Long Fei heaved a sigh of relief in his heart. Luckily, I was slightly different from Main Gun. If I could kill them instantly no matter how far away I was, then I would really die. However, although it was different from the main artifact, the Poseidon's wrath carried an incomparably powerful destructive force, which even Titan King, whose entire body was made up of Destroy God Mine-S, could not withstand it. This damage, it was simply an explosive display. He was indescribably strong. God's War beasts and Beast King Question of God were both stunned. What kind of power is this? Abnormal strength. This fellow, Titan King, was not in a good mood. Being struck in the chest by the power of the Poseidon's wrath, his chest was torn apart. The Titans never retreat. Boom! The Titan anchor suddenly moved and hooked itself into a place. The chains around the anchor wrapped themselves around and slightly pressed against their bodies. Then they took a step forward. At this moment, the power of the Tai-Tan King's residual soul moved. Wang tightened a divine shield. An incomparably thick air shield appeared on the Tai-Tan King's body. At the same time, his footsteps sped up, and he rushed to the front of the beauty palace step by step. Rumble! A powerful, heavy blow. Half of the beauty palace were directly destroyed by the Tai-Tan King. Beauty Palace could not withstand it at all. The mermaid clan people were even more shocked. Just what kind of monster was this? However, Mermaid Patriarch was also calm. The idea moved his hand and bellowed, "Increase your strength to the highest point." Boom! At this moment, Long Fei's footsteps moved as he instantly charged towards the beauty palace. The 9 Tribulations sword in his hand was placed on the Murlocs clan's neck as he said darkly, "Stop your attack." The residual soul on Tai-Tan King's body controlled itself again. No matter how strong a remnant soul was, it still had a limit. If he consumed too much of it, he was worried that the scene of Yen Huang ancestors' soul dying would happen again. He absolutely would not allow such a thing to happen again. The might of the Poseidon's wrath was too strong. It was unknown if the Tai-Tan King's remnant soul could resist it, but Long Fei could not take this risk. "Stop, otherwise I'll kill you." Long Fei was extremely cold. If the power of the Poseidon's wrath had increased even a little, Long Fei would not hesitate to destroy the flower ruthlessly. When I Long Fei speak, I mean it. Gloomy. The killing intent was extremely strong. Moreover, his eyes were brimming with the wrath of a demon god. "If you dare to make a move, I will destroy you." You're tuning in to the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.